Looking for music that lifts your spirit and fills your heart? Experience the powerful sound of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Now streaming on all your favorite music platforms. Find the Tabernacle Choir on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Let the music of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square inspire you today and every day. Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the go, enjoy the beauty of their world-renowned sound anytime. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, streaming now.
Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Well, half of the World Cup final is set, and the All-Star game is in the books. Major League Baseball missing a lot of stars at this All-Star game. Felt a little bit like NBA load management, you know. Now, the Dodgers put out a statement because they know what everybody's saying. Shohei Ohtani had his knee drained. People want to see Shohei. People want to see Aaron Judge, and he's out long-term. That's a little different deal. There are a lot of big-time pitchers who could have been at the All-Star game and aren't. Could have been pitching in it, but they're not. And on the one hand, emotionally, you know, they're missed. But in terms of competition, they weren't missed. The pitchers who were there were dominant. The National League gets shut out on 3 hits. The American League, they got 3 runs in that first inning and then 1 solo homer the rest of the way. It was a pretty good night for pitchers. Most of them just came in and were lights out. There was a lot of 3 up and 3 down, occasionally an isolated base runner. But it's kind of a snoozer. I love the way they had the pitchers, you know, mic'd up, and, you know, I get to hear Dylan Cease there in the first inning calling all his pitches. That was awesome, and they kept it running through the game. Managers talking, the whole bit. That was kind of cool because it's an exhibition, which is why the pitchers aren't there. You know, they put that rule in. If the guys throw on Saturday or Sunday, they don't have to go in the All-Star game. So then teams are taking guys who were scheduled to pitch on Thursday or Friday and pushing them to Saturday, Sunday. And I saw Buster Olney talking about it. You know, he didn't like it. He's a longtime ESPN reporter, beat writer before that. And he thinks maybe it's something that can be addressed in a collective bargaining agreement. I don't know about that. I mean, they're not going to get rid of the All-Star game because it's a big moneymaker. But on the other hand, pitchers are getting hurt all the time. So why have your guys make an extra appearance, throw an extra inning? I get it from a competitive standpoint why teams don't want it. So they're kind of caught in the middle there. There's certainly a market for it, man. Fans love the game. They love the home run derby. The ballpark's packed both nights. Millions of people are watching both nights. So, you know, what are you going to do? Just try to figure it out and negotiate it, I guess. I don't know what else to say. The World Cup continues today. The England-Argentina game. Winner to face Spain. Spain beat France. Spain's only given up 1 goal in the entire tournament. France had only given up 2, and then they gave up 2 yesterday, and the penalty in the first 15 minutes really changed things. It was a legit call, but that was early to fall behind, and France is struggling under pressure, trying to score against a team that really doesn't even let you have that much possession across midfield. They're just, that defense is suffocating. All right, I don't think either England or Argentina has looked good in the tournament. It's France and Spain did. I would have said, if you rank them based on performance, I think France and Spain were 1-2, and I thought France had beat Spain, but Spain was definitely the better team on the day. Definitely. They had some the defense has been great, but, the attack has not been great the whole tournament, but they did plenty against France, so I think they'll be the favorite in the final regardless of who they play. I think Argentina will beat England. Both teams have struggled. Both teams have need dramatic rallies to pull out, to come from behind and win, to pull out games that you thought they should have won after 90 minutes, and they needed 30 more to win it in the case of Argentina. So, but I think it should be entertaining, and that England-Mexico game was just outstanding. And Argentina's played outstanding games as well. So we'll see how it goes today. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to pivot. Jim Williams, longtime TV director, producer, executive, very bullish on the future of sports and Major League Baseball, specifically in Salt Lake City. Also bullish on Utah and BYU going forward and their value to TV networks. We'll talk with Jim Williams next. Stay with us. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 KSL Sports Zone. We're joined by Jim Williams, longtime sports media producer, director, and executive. Jim, good morning.
Good morning, boys. How you doing?
We are doing well this morning. Jim, you had you were on social media yesterday, and you were talking about keep an eye out. Here's the post on Twitter, on X. Keep an eye out when MLB expands. Salt Lake City is quietly becoming one of the hottest sports towns in America. Sports Business Journal just vaulted Salt Lake from number 44 to number 12 nationally, ahead of some legacy markets on its best sports business cities list. You cite the Jazz, RSL, Olympic infrastructure, and an aggressive event strategy, which traces back to the Utah Sports Commission. So I'm curious, what has changed, or did the number just kind of catch up? Is that something you do every year? Has something changed in the last year? Or maybe sometimes the whole, the image catches up with reality at some point, and so that's why the big jump in numbers. What's driving that?
I think a lot of it, guys, is people are discovering Utah. I've been there many times, and you come back, you tell people what a wonderful time you had at Salt Lake, and I think that what's driving it is that look at the attendance. Look at the attendance at the Mammoth hockey games. The Jazz have always been strong. And then you've got, of course, Real Salt Lake, which you guys talked about earlier in the program. So I think it's really a matter of image. People are getting to understand that, Utah and specifically Salt Lake City is a hot sports market. There's numbers are numbers, whether you want to argue them or whatever. But I know a lot of people, think, well, gosh, Salt Lake, no baseball town. Of course, there's no reason that can't be.
How do you think that affects the colleges as they want to continue to grow their brands?
It helps because, everybody, this is a really small business, okay? And at the end of the day, you want to be where you're going to be appreciated. And you can't do that if you don't look at it and say, okay, look, this is a fantastic up and growing market. What's it going to do? It's going to help the University of Utah. It's going to help BYU. It's going to help Utah State, Southern Utah. It's going to help the entire region.
I do wonder about colleges in the direct shadow of pro teams. Partly because I grew up in San Diego, and I saw what it did to San Diego State. I was literally home for the 98 World Series. The Padres are playing the Yankees, and that's the days when you have these huge special newspaper sections because they could make a ton of money. And San Diego State put an ad in it. And they're like, come see the game next week. And I'm like, well, you're trying. You're doing the right thing. But the game they had to promote was, I think it was UTEP. And it's like, wow, the Yankees are here for the World Series. I'm pretty into it. Even I'm like, that's not much. But what are they supposed to do? That's who they were playing. And I just look at, Houston and Houston, it's better to be Texas and Austin. I look at Cincinnati, Xavier, Cleveland State. It's better to be Ohio State and Columbus. Right? Florida and Florida State. It's better to be in your small college towns than to be Miami in Miami, where unless they have a great team, it is really hard for them to draw 50,000 people. So is there a problem with being right in the backyard and too close together?
I would say it's a difference in baseball and football. If you're talking about professional NFL football, that's a whole different ballgame. But you're not. You're talking about baseball. Baseball is played for the most part when football isn't. And, unless you get into the postseason. So I really don't see, if you told me tomorrow that Salt Lake was going to get, an NFL franchise, then I'd have another different answer for you. But there's no correlation really in baseball versus college football or college basketball.
You had a piece also, too, on BYU and their ability to continue to grow as a brand. Could you go into detail on what that is about and how beneficial that is for them and maybe what it could mean down the road?
Yeah, sure. For many years, as you all know, BYU was independent. And there was a guy, a really good, smart programming guy, back when I started in this business when dinosaurs roamed the earth. And his name is Frank Carney. Now, Frank Carney was in charge of Western Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia. And he used to like to get, back in those days, you could get tape delay football games because you couldn't do it. You could only have 2 games live and then a regional game. So he decided, you know what, I'm going to program football all day long, even if some of it is, is tape delayed. But then there was BYU having their own TV network. And it was a Pac-12 late after dark, before the Pac-12 after dark exists. So there were a lot of people who remember the 1984 team, that won the mythical national championship. So there was a lot of people who watched BYU football long before they even knew where BYU was. And so I think that was a big help to them. And I think that you still have some BYU, followers, much like we call them Subway alumni, who've never been there, but they still like to watch and pay attention to them.
College football, CBS and Fox have the Big Ten and the SEC, and there's a lot of talk about Big 12 ratings and are these teams watchable? And even when they get good time slots, when they're not playing in that 8:30 after dark kickoff local time here, which is 10:30 in the East, and obviously people are going to bed, and so a lot of the country doesn't see those games. But when they move them up to like 1:30, they are frequently going against massive games. And I just think people in those parts of the country are going to watch the local/regional team, not the team from the other side of the country. Is there any way to get around that? Are any of the schools out here ever going to be ratings powerhouses? I mean, maybe USC and Oregon, depending on who they're playing.
Yeah, I think that, again, it's brand. It's what hopefully it's what they brought you, Brett, your market for, because that's what Brett. Brett's a very good promoter of the conference, and I think that will help them. There's very little you can differentiate. It's like, okay, fine, we get an early game, whether it was Colorado a few years ago when Dion just got there. This is going to sound cliche, but winning solves everything. If you got a team in the top 10 and they're playing hot, then there's no reason to believe they aren't going to get ratings. The last couple of years of the Pac-12, their ratings weren't bad at all. And as I say, and that wasn't just USC and UCLA and Oregon. So I do think that there's a place for that, for both. You guys have two outstanding programs in Utah and in BYU. So I think that at the end of the day, we're going to see a lot more of that. But look, guys, we're changing. The whole thing is changing, and that is, it's all going to direct to consumer. For now, you talked about earlier about wanting to watch the home run derby last night and going to Netflix. It's not going to get simpler. Streaming is now a part of what's going on. So if I want to watch Utah play football, or I want to watch BYU play football, I'll have that opportunity. I'll pay for that opportunity, but I will have that opportunity.
One of the cool things since we've been here, because we came here a year apart in the 90s from California, is to see, you talk about that brand, the University of Utah, known as a basketball school for many, many years, and to see its brand grow as in football has just been awesome. For me, I've gotten to cover the Fiesta Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, 2 Rose Bowls, and all that. So to see this brand come from where I came from, and it was not much coming from Arizona and California. You didn't know a whole lot about Utah football. Now, it just exploded. It's been rising as well as practically anybody's. What do you think the brand is for Utah as it tries to grow, and maybe whenever there is some form of expansion or divide line between, if they ever get to that point where some schools are in the power and some get left out, as far as Utah being on that right side?
I think the key here is, as I said before, coming to Utah and watching sports was phenomenal. Or producing and directing sports are great. I think this is going to sound silly, but you need better PR. When I tell people what a wonderful time you can have going to a Utah football game, is that the setting is gorgeous, and teams have always been good. So I think it's more of a perception, and you need to really pump more about what Utah is all about. The University of Utah. Not that they don't try, but I don't think they're doing it as well as they perhaps could. Not that they need my opinion on it, but I do think that once you start paying attention to them, it's very much worth your while. Just the same as BYU.
Jim Williams joining us, longtime sports media producer, director, and executive. One thing I have heard from people who are way deeper into this than me and know a lot more about it than me is that basketball and hockey here, there isn't that big a risk because they get so much money from their national TV deals. Baseball does not. And so if we get baseball, the local broadcast revenue becomes way more important because it's such a big percentage of the total operation. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's true? Is there a risk with baseball coming here, or do you think it will absolutely succeed when it shows up in Utah?
I have no reason to believe that it wouldn't. And I say this as a fact that it's attendance also makes a lot of difference. You guys know because you were on the cutting edge. Utah basketball and, of course, the Mammoth took everything on air, over the air broadcast. And that's been nothing but successful for them. So I think that baseball in the state of Utah and Salt Lake City is, in my mind, it's a no-brainer. You've got a phenomenal group of fans in the area, but then again, regionally, you have a lot of fans. And so I would say that, you're right that's a problem everybody's getting in baseball themselves in this new deal that's coming up in 2028. Some of the reasons that they took over all of the Major League Baseball productions, all but a few of them in the regionals left, was because they want to bundle it and package it in a way where they'll get some of that money back. They'll claw it back. It'll take them a while, but they'll get some money back. So to them right now, people coming to the ballgame is the key for a lot of these franchises.
How much do you think TV is going to drive what happens in college football going forward?
A lot less than it used to.
Really?
Yeah, and I say this because what we're seeing right now is the Big Ten and the SEC are getting the lion's share of the money. You were talking a little earlier about Netflix and trying to figure out where the games are going. I think that there's a reset time. Right now, there's a saying here in Washington that basically those who are talking don't know and those who know aren't talking. And I think what we're seeing here is a bunch of universities who want to be in either the SEC or the Big Ten. But they're Tony Petit is somebody I've known and worked with for 30 years. He's not stupid. He's very calculated in what he wants to do. And so I would say that right now, as of today, the Big Ten and the SEC have ideas and they're running a number of different scenarios. But at the end of the day, I think that we're going to find that college football and college sports will still have a strong place, but we're going to see a lot more streaming of it than we probably ever have, and certainly in the 2030 plus cycle.
The Big Ten looks like it's on the verge, to me, looks like it's on the verge of taking everything over. They've got more money. The SEC doesn't seem to be interested in expanding nationally. They'll add states like Texas and Oklahoma, but they want to stay contiguous is the word they always use, right? Use a state right next door to one they're already in. Sure. They're in Arkansas and Louisiana. They'll go to Oklahoma and Texas. They won't go any further. Mm-hmm. The professional leagues that truly are national have 8 teams in 10 Western markets. And it's all a little different. Basketball's in Sacramento and baseball's in San Diego. And obviously hockey and basketball are here in Utah. But all of the leagues find a way to get into at least 7 of the 10 markets, so they're a national league so that everybody has a horse in the race. If the Big Ten's going to do it, can they just add Stanford and Cal and be a truly national league? Do they need to be in Denver, Phoenix, Salt Lake City also? What do you think?
No, I don't think they do. I think that they have a strategy, which is they already have 4 brands in the out west that are, you can argue that UCLA isn't the brand that they used to be, and that would probably be right. But SC and Oregon and Washington, make a pretty strong Western group. Now, again, this is just me speculating. If they decided to go west, then certainly Utah and Arizona State would probably be their target out west. I don't think that Stanford and Cal had opportunities to join the Big Ten, and well, more Stanford's situation on Cal, and they chose not to. So I'm not so certain that that I wouldn't put my house on it for betting that Utah and Arizona State are going to get the invites if they do expand. But a long shot's better than no shot, right?
Yeah. Well, why'd you select those two?
Because two reasons. One, the programs are successful. Two, you were talking about Kenny Dillingham earlier.
Yeah.
And Arizona State probably has more. If Arizona State was in the Big Ten, when people would go to the games and Penn State would be out there, Michigan's out there, Ohio State's out there, I'm not sure that there would be more fans in that beautiful stadium down there by the mountain than would be there rooting for the home team. So I think that has to do with it. I think the mountain time zone is always an important thing for for the conferences to have. So you have all four time zones. So I think all of that plays into it. And I think that do I know where they're going to expand? No, I have no idea. But if they are going to go west, to me, Utah makes a lot of sense, and so does Arizona State.
Yeah. So many Big Ten alumni in Southern California and in Arizona. They are everywhere. So I totally get that. I'm curious if you believe that these sports leagues can go overseas. Both the NFL and the NBA, they're looking at doing it differently, but they're both going there. With streaming, are they just looking ahead thinking, hey, we're moving beyond the U.S. TV networks and cobbling together networks overseas to go to an Apple or an Amazon or a Netflix and to be in Europe and in North America? Does that make a ton of sense? Are they really ahead of the curve here?
I think with the global brands you just brought up, Apple and Prime specifically, they're not afraid to push the boundaries. And I think that the NFL deal, which by the way is coming up soon, we shall keep an eye out for that. The NFL deal probably is going to add at least 6 to 8 games that are going to be played in Europe. They're finding some traction, but I don't know that it's ever going to be successful in Europe, right? It's like, to me, I liken it to an NFL bowl game. You get to go overseas and hang out and have a good time for a week, and then fly back here and play football. So one of these streamers are going to get that 9:30 slot. Then you've got the 1 o'clock, the 4:30. I'm talking Eastern Coast time, so 1 o'clock, the 4:30, and then of course the nighttime game and Sunday night, and then Monday Night Football. So there's only so many, and Thursday, I forgot that. There's only so many time slots you can fill. But at the end of the day, I do believe what we're seeing is consolidation, guys. I mean, look, we don't know yet whether the merger between CBS and Sky, Skydance is going to come off. But if they do, then everything that's TNT right now goes to CBS, and CBS will take control of it. Just because they consolidate doesn't mean they have more budget. And there's only a certain amount of money that can be spent on TV sports. And right now, I'm looking at what's going to happen with the NFL. They want to be upwards of $150 to $200 billion. To get there, some of these networks are going to have to shed content because you just can't pay all that money for and not have it, mess up the bottom line in another way. So there's a ripple effect here. But college football and college sports will always have a place. I do believe one of the reasons Apple was heavily involved in wanting to get to Pac-12 was because so many of the players in the Olympic sports are actually from overseas. And so it has some sellability. The NBA, for sure. I mean, you can't go anywhere in Europe and not see a Steph Curry jersey, a LeBron James jersey. It's what David Stern did, with that process was a genius in that regard.
Jim, we'll leave it right there. We appreciate the time, and I know there are a lot of baseball fans in Utah who hope you are right about expansion, that it's not only going to happen, that they will flourish.
Well, if I can, I'll get out there and see you guys, and we'll go to a ball game. Maybe.
All right. Look forward to it.
Hopefully in the near future.
All right. Thank you, Jim. We appreciate it.
Anytime, brother.
All right, there's Jim Williams, longtime TV executive, director, and producer. When we come back, Brian Taylor on the Open Championship. Stay with us.
This Open Championship update is presented by Copper Rock, where the pros play on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Brian Taylor and Bob Casper's appearances are brought to you by Mountain America Credit Union, Mountain Supply, Black Desert Resort, Hoops Vision, and Uinta Golf. Brian, good morning.
Good morning. I wore my special hat just for the Open Championship edition, just for you guys.
Nice.
Tip of the cap to you, PK.
Okay.
Royal Birkdale hosting the Open Championship. So I immediately think fog, wind, sideways rain, and then I click on the forecast, high 60s to low 70s, 10-mile-an-hour winds. Is that enough? And very little chance of rain. Is that enough to defend, for this course to defend itself? There's not a lot of trees and all that. Or is it now going to be wide open and guys are going low?
It's going to be a scorcher over there. Talked to our friend from the BBC, and he said it's just been an absolute heat wave over there, that it's pretty much burnt out. It's going to, I think, play a lot like Royal Liverpool in 2006 when Tiger went around there hitting all of his stinger iron shots, 350 yards, running down the fairway, that kind of thing. Although you don't have to necessarily hit it that long here this week at Birkdale. But, the rough was much thicker a couple of weeks ago, and it's just kind of like burnt out a little bit from the dryness. So it's going to play that firm, fast, kind of links style golf, but it's going to be more precision, less bomber. When listening to some of the player interviews and talking with our friend over to the BBC, sounds like, long irons off the tees, long irons into the greens, guys that are good long iron players, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, those are guys that are, certainly come to mind, are going to have a good week.
You said Royal Liverpool, and it reminds me of a story. I don't know that if I shared it with you, but I'm going to now, and I want to see if you can top it as far as playing with somebody. So I told this story a few weeks back. I think it was first part of June. I'd gone to a wedding reception, and this guy recognizes me, the PK thing, so he wants to talk to me. He tells me it was several years back, and he's playing in Orlando, and the sun is going down, right? So he's got his wife with him, and there was two guys ahead of him, and the two guys say, hey, why don't you join up with us? This way you'll be able to finish. So he says, yeah. So they meet up 14 or 15, whatever it is, and they introduce each other, right? And one guy who invited this couple to play that live here in Utah that I saw at the wedding reception, they introduced themselves, and the wedding reception guy says to the other guy, where are you from? And the guy says, I'm from Liverpool. And he introduces himself and says, what's your name? He says, I'm Paul from Liverpool.
Is that his radio name?
No, that is his real name, and his last name, you may have heard of it. It's Paul from Liverpool, England, obviously. And his last name, true story here, according to this guy, which I have no reason why he would lie to me, that his last name was and is McCartney. So he played the last few holes in Orlando with a guy named Paul McCartney from Liverpool, England. And yes, it was that Paul.
Really?
Yes. According to this guy, told me this story, and his wife was there, and his wife was this sweet, young-looking gal, innocent, the kind that, we know the state of Utah produces, if you get my drift. And I was floored. I said, I'll never be able to top that story, ever, for the rest of my life. Jay Drew told me a story. He said, "Oh, that really beats my story." I think he was at with U.S. Open, was at Pebble or something. You would know this better than I would. That there was a van that was going to take them from the clubhouse over to the 10th tee. It's apparently a decent walk, and he gets to go on the van, and the guy says, "Oh, this is just for the players." And so he steps back. Well, there's one guy on the van in the van says, "Oh no, you can bring him on," and it's Fowler. And Fowler says, "Bring him on, and we'll drive over." And so he has a little conversation with Fowler, and Jay tells me, "Yeah, that tops my story." And yes, you played several holes with Paul McCartney. That has got to be unbelievable. And I'm thinking even Brian Taylor and Bobby Casper, they can't top that story.
That's a pretty good story. I mean, Paul McCartney, that's got to be like, and you were invited by Paul McCartney to play golf. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't from like, the get go, but
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Brian, you got to think about
like
this. You've played late in the day, and some people are better at golf etiquette as far as letting groups play through or letting groups join up, and some people aren't as good at the golf etiquette. So you'd be in that situation. You'd be thinking in a tourist town like Orlando, I wonder if these people golf a lot, if they know, are we going to finish our round? That's your primary consideration. And then the group waves you up, and you're like, whoa. And when you walk up, as you walk up, you suddenly realize that you're walking up to join a Beatle. I mean, there's a... Come on.
that's pretty good. I don't know if I could top that one. I mean, I've had a lot of really cool golf experience, but
you'd have to get waved up by Tiger Woods to join Tiger and Charlie. I mean, come on, who could wave you up that has that kind of worldwide fame?
yeah, the wave up, that's pretty good. As far as wave up stories go, I think that one might top the list. I mean, Paul McCartney, I don't even know, like in my generation, is there anybody that would even like that could even stand up to Paul McCartney?
Everyone I want to throw out there as that big a star is now dead. Like, who's a 60-year-old, the 80s? I mean, Jagger would wave you up, I guess.
I think it would have to be Jesus.
I mean, if you got waved up by Brad Pitt, that would be great, but I don't think it tops McCartney.
No.
And Pitt's a pretty big star.
I should have a good story to come back to this one, but you got me on that.
I figured. I mean, I told the guy.
I mean, the only
story.
one that comes to mind is I got invited. I was at Pebble Beach playing or covering the AT&T one year, and we got invited to go play Tahama Country Club, whatever. It's just Clint Eastwood's place that's up on the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And as we played like the third or fourth hole, the guy that we're playing with, who's a member, says, "We're just going to wait right here. Clint's coming through." And so which is the rule. If Clint comes, you just let him play through. And so we sat there. I'm like, well, this is very exciting. So we sat there and Clint drove through and he thanked us for letting him go. And he went up in his tee shot and away he went. So that was probably, I don't know, maybe the only celebrity kind of similar type thing.
That's a really good one, Brian. And yet it doesn't match McCartney. And it's really good.
No.
It tops Fowler.
No.
Take Clint Eastwood over Fowler. And Fowler's a great story.
My neighbor, who is a golf pro, that's a fact. He's since moved, but he still is a golf pro. And he's, what's the one that has the 3 nines out on the west side? Stonebridge, yeah. And so he was up at Glen Wild, and that it was understood that if Jordan was there, that he played through. And my neighbor, this golf pro, was in the fairway, and a ball comes shooting by between he and his partner, and down comes a guy in a cart, and it's MJ, and he just drives right on through. He didn't
even ask.
No, according to my neighbor, and I have no doubt, no reason to doubt him. Yeah, and that was understood at Glen Wild that when and the members, I was there. I've played it. And it was understood that you didn't talk to him. So if you saw him on the grounds, you just let him go. He wasn't there to socialize. So that was kind of a little bit of your Clint Eastwood thing. Now, I didn't experience that. You saw it yourself. But my neighbor, who I believe him, told me that story. And I think that kind of that's at least ballpark. But still, Paul takes the cake.
Right. All right, as far as Royal Birkdale there, Scheffler just missed a cut. The streak is broken. Does that mean he's playing bad golf? Was he just unfortunate and he could still win this week? Would you wave off picking Scheffler this week? What do you think of Scotty's chances?
He's done. He's done. His window's closed. So he's finished. He's washed up. Yeah, I mean, you can't miss cuts at the Scottish Open and still claim to be the best player in the world, right? Right, PK?
Yeah, right.
Come on, back me up on this.
There's no question about it. He's a has-been. But then I got McIlroy saying that he's bad at golf.
Yeah. He said that to himself and yelled it out loud how bad he is, right? Let me say this. Golf is to make 78 consecutive cuts at the highest level. It's not anything near what Tiger Woods did. It's not Byron Nelson, but it is unbelievable in today's day and age. It's just so hard to do. That shows the consistency in which Scotty has been playing at. I'm fascinated with golfers' windows. We've had this conversation over the years, but I'm fascinated. And Jordan Spieth is front and center this week because he was the last to win here in 2017. And so you start looking at where he has gone, and then you look at what Scheffler's been doing and all of the windows that have sort of been there in the meantime. I mean, look at what Rory did, and then his window opened up again. And then you look at Brooks Koepka and Bryson, and, there's all these players that look unbeatable for a period of time. And it's how long will that window stay open? And it always harkens back to the incredible run that Tiger Woods had. And even going back in the generations in Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer and some of these guys where they were able to compete at a high level and win prolifically for, generations, for decades, if you will. And so when Tiger had a decade, that's a long time. And he was dominating for a decade. And some of these guys, their window lasts a year. Some of them it's 3 or 4. Some of them it's 8. But so Scotty Scheffler, I don't think the window. So to that, using that as the context, I don't think his window is ready to close. I think a missed cut isn't something that you would say, let's judge Scotty's game. What you would judge Scotty's game is the fact that he opens up with a 63 in his first round at Amex and goes on to win shooting 30-something under in his first event. And then he has a slew of runner-up finishes and hasn't won since. I mean, that's kind of where you go, that's odd for a guy that's been winning 5, 6, 7 times a year the last few years. Having said that, it adds to his great play. He's still leading the tour in strokes gained, scoring average, and all of the major statistics. So it's hard to say that he's having an off year. He just isn't getting the dubs that he had last year. I wouldn't count him out. He's looking to become the first to go back-to-back at the Open Championship since Padraig Harrington did it in 2008 right here at Royal Birkdale. So I love it when stats combine, and we'll see what happens there. But I think Scotty's hungry. A missed cut might have been just what he needed. Some of his comments in his presser this week was talking about being recorded all the time and the pressure that comes along with that. And sometimes you just need to get out of the spotlight a little bit and be able to have some room to breathe. And so it's hard. It's not easy being the top guy all the time with all the attention. And a lot of guys haven't been able to do it for as long as Scotty has. And maybe it's getting to him a little bit. Maybe a missed cut is just what he needed.
I can relate to that specifically because when it comes to picking guys winning, I'm the top guy. And having the attention on me all the time when I pick last every year, the burden every time, 4 times a year to follow up on it like I just did at the U.S. with Wyndham Clark. I can relate to Scotty, is what you're saying.
Wait. You picked Wyndham Clark to win the U.S. Open?
Mm-hmm. He did.
Which pick? 1, 2, or 3?
3, the 9th pick.
That's still pretty good, though. That's a good 9th pick. I'll give it to you. Yeah. I'm not in on your picks, so you know what? I'll give you a golf clap for that. That's a good one, PK.
And I feel bad for Bob because he came from a golf family, and he just can't compete with me.
Oh, my.
Can you imagine that?
This seems like a good time to talk about this being the 50th.
It's not a good time to talk about it. He went away. He's on a computer. For those of you who are streaming, you know this, and there's now a black screen in the middle third. I'm on one side, you're on the other, and he vaporized. He's gone.
Well,
if
it wasn't going to be a good time to talk about me, the computer gods didn't want to hear it.
That was it. Now back to PK. PK, tell us more about your greatness.
Well, you just go with it and you think about it and you ponder it and you do research. And you got to make sure the analytics match up with your gut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then once you do, you say, well, what the heck? I'll pick Wyndham Clark. And then it happens, and then you taunt the other guys. This is 1986 all over again. When the Devils went to the Rose Bowl and I was living in California. And I had just moved there. And who is this outsider coming in here taunting us? But go ahead, Brian.
Brian, that was not
Sorry
the
about
perfect
that.
time. Yeah, okay.
That was perfect timing for a phone call to interrupt our anyway.
Okay.
So Johnny Miller 50 years ago won at Royal Birkdale. He beat a 19-year-old Seve Ballesteros and Jack Nicklaus. Raymond Floyd was the reigning Masters champion. He was right there in contention with others. Really good stuff. By the way, if you want to go back and watch, the RNA has the video that you can watch from the 76 Open, which is pretty cool. And to watch these guys out there, and you could tell that Seve was going to be a star at 19, right? He still had all those shots. But the reason why it's a good time to talk about it, first of all, to honor Johnny, which is awesome. 25 wins, I think, on the PGA Tour, the U.S. Open, and the Open Championship. I mean, that's awesome. What a career. And then the broadcasting and all that. But in his acceptance speech of the Claret Jug afterwards, which they always do in front of the people with the microphone, this is so PK, so Johnny. I can't even, it just is so funny. But he stands up and he says, I would like to congratulate Seve and Jack on their runner-up finish. Sorry, that was, and then he doubles down and he says, and I'd like to thank the rest of the field for making it so easy on me. I mean, if there wasn't a more Johnny Miller thing said, I don't know where you're going to find it. But first of all, Seve probably really appreciated a star like Johnny recognizing him as a 19-year-old. But Jack, do you think Jack wanted to be congratulated on his runner-up finish in a major at that point in his career? I don't think so.
All right, I got a Johnny Miller little story. So I go down to the Phoenix Open and Waste Management, and that was Johnny's last broadcast on that Friday. Do you remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
So I went down there, and I got a press pass, and so I go to his press conference, and I talk to him afterward, and he says, "Oh man, I really like listening to you when I'm in town." He says, "You remind me of me."
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
He literally said that to me. And I've told you this, Brian, that Johnny Miller was my golf hero growing up. And so that was for him to say that. It was funny and it was cool. And we did talk a little bit. He had a little formal press conference, and then afterward, because I asked him a question, and you had to introduce yourself. And when I did, he says, "Oh yeah, I listen." So I went up to him afterward. But I thought, and then you bring that up, you connect us, and Johnny connected us himself.
Well, I mean, what can you say?
Yeah, I took it as a compliment. Yeah. And obviously, as a golfer, he was awesome. And as an analyst, he was awesome, too.
He was the best. Honestly, I miss Johnny on the call.
I agree.
I love Kevin Kisner. He's great, right? You think about Faldo, what he did for a long time. There's been good analysts, but none like Johnny.
Right,
and
it's like the guy who tried to
people
follow Vin Scully. I mean, I'm sure he's good, but he's not Vin Scully.
Right. And there's a lot of people that didn't like Johnny because he would, like PK, likes to weave himself into the story a little bit and that kind of thing. But it compels you to watch. It compels you to listen. And here's the thing. His book was called I Call the Shots. He did call the shots, and sometimes it made him look silly because he would say, "Hey, this one, you could choke on this shot right here," and people would be like, "Oh, Johnny, why'd you say that?" And then the guy would, or he'd pull it off, and then Johnny would say, like people would say, "See, Johnny, you didn't choke." But I think from a viewer standpoint, and for those that know that have been in those situations, when he's pointing that out and then the pro pulls the shot off, I think it's more of a compliment to the shot he just hit because he set it up as being more difficult than it was. And so, or he set up the scene of what could actually be going on inside. And when someone's able to overcome that and execute the shots under pressure, look, Johnny dealt with pressure as much as anybody. In fact, it kind of ended his career. The putter just wouldn't cooperate at the end of his career, and he just couldn't make the putts, couldn't make the pressure putts, and that happens. It happens to everybody, and so he understands pressure and choking and all that kind of stuff, and he would point that out, and it's a real thing. Yeah, for the everyman, for those of us like me that play country club golf and don't compete on a regular basis, and all of a sudden you go out for one weekend, and like we did at our senior club champ last weekend, and you start feeling it, and you get nervous, and you make a bogey, and you can't stop it, and you make 2 double bogeys to follow, and you go, holy cow, what the heck just happened here? Like, literally, what happened? How come my hands feel all weird? How come my mind's racing? How come I can't even, I went from hitting it great to not even knowing how to play this game. It's it's a different deal altogether. And so for those that play regular tournament golf, they feel it, they love it, they thrive on it. And one of the coolest things is that when you start to feel those feels and you can actually execute and perform in the middle of it, that's a really cool feeling. And these guys do it at a completely different level than what we do, for those of us that are listening right now and talking right now. So Johnny was great. I loved his calls. I didn't get a chance to watch him play golf. I was too young at the time, but it was cool to go back. I highly recommend go to the Open Championship, go to the RNA, or just go to YouTube and search 1976 Open. And Peter Allis is the commentator. He's fantastic. Just one of the all-time greats, and it's a cool watch.
You talk about playing the game at different levels. There are many of us who are petrified if we have to tee off in front of 10 people. The thought that there would be 10,000 people lining both sides of the fairway and 10 million people on TV, and the fact that we might kill one of those 10,000 people when we spray a drive all the places we spray them, it is not the same thing. It's not remotely the same thing.
No, and I was one of my first Masters that I went to see Sam Snead hit the ceremonial opening tee shot. And Sam was in his 80s, right, or something. It was close to 80 if he wasn't in his 80s, and he just sniped it right in and just right through the glasses of a spectator, about 50 yards down the fairway. And, he felt terrible. That was his last one. And the guy, first of all, if you are in those situations, don't lean your head in looking straight down the barrel of a guy that's about to tee off, But yeah, it happens. People hit people, players hit people all the time, but yeah, it's a cool thing to watch these guys perform, and the way that they have to just get so callous. Sometimes we knock these guys as being calloused as professionals, but they have to somewhat be calloused, because if you're as emotional as we get about making a birdie, or as emotional as we get or down on ourselves for making a bogey, it just wears you out. And every once in a while it comes out, like you pointed out, PK. You see Rory yell at himself, "You're so bad at golf." Well, you know what? Sometimes that it just spills over. Sometimes, it goes into Sergio mode, and that's unfortunate. Sometimes it goes into Wyndham Clark mode, and that's unfortunate. But for the most of the time, these guys hold their decorum pretty well, and they're a pretty pressure-packed sport. So
there's Brian Taylor. When we come back, what is trending? The headlines are next.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NBA.
Hopeful that it will wrap up this summer, so that would continue to be the goal here. And I just want to clarify so everyone understands, the league did not pause the trade. The parties to the trade made a decision not to go forward, given that the investigation remained open. Any possible impact on Kawhi or his contract was yet to be known.
That's NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. The pending Kawhi Leonard trade hanging in the balance. You find that more irritating, or LeBron James, will he or won't he, Cleveland, Philly, Miami?
LeBron doesn't bother me at all. He's going to draw attention to himself. It's what he does. He's been doing it for 20 years, so I'm used to it. This thing, it's always 3 months away from being finished.
It really is.
What's the holdup? What do they have to investigate that takes months and months and months? Is it that complex? I think the fan base has grown stale and tired of it.
Quite a bit of it is already out there. Is there something more that isn't known that's out there, or what is it?
I don't know. Jeez. Come on. What on?
Sixers star trio of Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and Jaylen Brown have reportedly made overtures to LeBron James, asking him to join and play in Philly next season. LeBron weighing his options. Will we know by the end of the week? Bum, bum, bum. Or will it just keep dragging on?
I don't know. I just hope to see him at a Jay-Z concert near you.
The Wizards have shut down A.J. DeBonsa for the rest of the Summer League after 2 games. And the Jazz take on the Spurs, although it remains to be seen how many of the Jazz will be taking on the Spurs, and will any of the big three be playing, or will they all be shut down as well? Jazz and Spurs tonight, 7:30 on Prime Video. Is this about enough Summer League? You seen enough now?
Yeah, I think it goes. It's a big flurry for here locally when it's just 3 games, so that goes by in a blink. And then you get 2 or 3 games in Vegas, and then it's like, okay, it's time for summer vacation.
Yep. We've seen 5 games. How much more is it going to change, right? Now I guess we've seen 6, but we saw the guys play 5.
I missed one, so it was only 5.
Only 5 for you?
Yeah.
Well, see, that gives you something in common with Darren Peterson. He missed one.
Yeah, I was in Texas, I think, when they played or something.
Ace missed a couple.
I know I was.
Yeah. The Star in Dallas, Big 12 Media Days.
Yeah. Yock's friend taking us to the Cowboy Club. Look at this guy, man. I got friends in low places. He got friends in high places. He's the Star. We're eating $60 steak for free.
All the sides of that, Yock? Baked potato?
Where did we go, PK? We went
the potato
mashed
and
potatoes and asparagus,
which were awesome.
Mashed potatoes and asparagus. Solid.
It was an elite meal.
Yock and I were fighting over that last asparagus.
That's mine. No.
It was good.
Cut it in half sometime.
It was a fun evening, I got to admit, man.
And dessert?
Oh, yeah.
Little pie a la mode?
No, a big fat cookie.
Oh, okay.
It was really good.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Came back 7 ounces heavier.
Bucks guard Tyler Hero said he wants to move on from the altercation he had in Vegas with former Miami Heat teammate Bam Adebayo. Adebayo reportedly hit Hero in an altercation. Could open the door for legal stuff. Was it assault? What happened? Hero didn't want to get into it. He wants to move on. So he gets to decide that. I guess he'll be moving on. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
Today is the deadline for NFL players with franchise tags to get a long-term deal done. Dallas Cowboys wide receiver George Pickens plans to play on his $27.3 million franchise tag this season. Then he hopes to cash in with a big multi-year deal next season. 1 year, $27 million. It's a pretty big number right there, PK.
Yeah, but taxes and all these other things. I mean, that seems to be the thing these days. And telling us how
$100 million is only $8 million, and how do you get by on that, right?
Yeah, the model.
Yeah, didn't like the math on that one. There's some weirdness in there, but okay. The investigation into Jets quarterback Geno Smith for an incident in which a woman accused him of battery last month is no longer active. He will not be charged, according to Davie, Florida police. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
College football right around the corner now. The Aflac kickoff game will match Auburn and Baylor to open the season. They've announced an NIL deal with Auburn for the matchup. The Peach Bowl and the kickoff game say the deal is worth multi-million dollars. It marks the first time a neutral site college football game has incorporated NIL compensation for student athletes. The NIL agreement will also involve third parties. The announcement says that as many as 24 Auburn student athletes will promote the game through social media posts, public appearances, advertisements, in-game promotions, and branding opportunities. I guess Baylor's just the Washington Generals in this scenario, huh? Nothing about Baylor's? The Auburn students. Or has the Baylor deal not been cut and they'll announce it in a couple days and get another round of pup?
The release only mentioned Auburn.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
28 pitch. Up the middle, and the American League cashes in. Alvarez in to score. Langalier's right behind him. 2-run single, Cody Bellinger.
Oh, God.
Wow, that ball is absolutely destroyed by Miguel Vargas into the second deck. Vargas, a first-time All-Star, one of the biggest surprises. On the biggest surprise in the sport, and the Chicago White Sox tees off and makes it 4-0.
American League beats the National League in the All-Star game in Philadelphia. Dylan Cease gets things started, and they hold the National League to no runs on 3 hits. Cody Bellinger's the MVP for that 2-run single in their 3-run top of the first. Seattle took the lead. Vargas added the home run, and there you go. Dominant pitching, considering the fact there were some big-name pitchers who weren't even there. It was still plenty good enough.
It's classic baseball, man. Good pitching. It's tough to beat. You get a couple of timely hits, throw in a couple of walks, and that's the ball game. Yeah, the National League couldn't muster jack squat, diddly squat. I'm going to do squats at the gym today for the National League because they showed us squat.
Never able to get the tying run to the plate. Really didn't have anything cooking at all.
No.
And with everyone gathered in mid-July and the trade deadline looming down the road here, not that far away, the rumors, of course, are flying. Detroit Tigers ace Derek Skubal, the subject of the rumors. Reports have the Cubs, the Braves, and the Rays as the 3 teams that seem to be the most seriously interested in acquiring his services for the rest of the year. Also, Major League Baseball gathering support from owners to allow big league players to participate in the Olympics for the first time. There are disagreements with the Players Association over hotel rooms, tickets, and mandatory participation agreement that have complicated the potential involvement in the 2028 LA Games. Of course, basketball has long been participating in the games. The NBA and the NHL figured out a way to do it in season. So can baseball pull it off too?
In season?
Yes. Well, the NBA does it in the summer. It's a little less complicated than what the
Out
NHL
of season?
Yes.
Well, and that's where the rub kind of meets on this one because of the NHL's success with the Milan Cortina games. That's why the pressure is being put on the MLBPA to move on this.
Why can't you guys pull it off?
And when you get pressure, I mean, strange things happen.
What kind of strange things?
That's the point. You don't know.
Don't know
if you
because
knew,
it's
they
so
wouldn't be
bizarre.
pressure.
So bizarre.
You'd be able to handle it. It's a mystery. Pressure is always a mystery.
DJ and PK. Spain with yet another shutout. Their 6th of the World Cup this year. They've only given up 1 goal, and they're into the final. Got a penalty 15 minutes in, added a goal in the second half. They cruised to the win over France. They got their only win in the World Cup in 2010. They're in the title game, awaiting the winner of today's game between England and Argentina, 1 o'clock on Fox.
So I had a friend who wants to go golfing. This was over the weekend. Let's go golfing on Wednesday. Well, I've got something to do, a couple things to do today, so I wasn't sure of my availability. And the friend says, "Okay, we got a time at 1."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe I can join you for the back 9 because I'm going to be tied up until 3, right? Okay. Then the friend last night texts us because the old lady was involved. Of course, she's playing in a tournament today. So anyway, so she was involved, tied up. We thought, yeah, maybe I can play the back 9. Well, then the friend says, I forgot the soccer game is on today. This is yesterday being today. And so I want to watch it. I tried to get a time later, but all the times were booked up. So the only time that this friend could get today was 1 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And then the friend says, well, I tried to get a time like 4, but I guess everybody's watching the soccer game.
Might be more an after-work thing.
Well, see, and I thought, well, where's the logic in that? The only time you could get was 1, and that's the game time. Mm-hmm. But you couldn't get the time later because everybody's watching. This is a soccer fan. This is you people. You think everything revolves around it. And so you can get the time later. Well, you couldn't get a time at 1:10. You couldn't get a time at 1:20. You couldn't get a time at 1:30. Stop me if you're not getting the point here. That, well, if everybody is watching the soccer game and that's why you couldn't get the later times, how come you couldn't get a time at 2 o'clock or any time during the actual game? So no, you fool. It's not about everyone watching the soccer.
As someone who works an unusual schedule and tries to get tee times, once the after-work crowd starts showing up, tee times around 4 o'clock get really, you got to plan way in advance. You can find 11, noon, 1. You can find that much later than you can find the 4, 5, 6 times.
You soccer people. Now, I got to admit, Until I saw this morning, I had no freaking clue who was playing.
Well, I told you yesterday.
I forgot.
Okay.
I didn't pay attention. Because when you start talking World Cup now that the U.S. is out, I don't pay attention.
All right.
Because I'm not paid for that. If I was paid to know about this stuff, I'd know about this stuff.
England and Argentina in the semifinal today. Winner
Ask me, is it going to be
Spain.
Enoch Watson or Trayson Bourget who's going to win the BYU backup quarterback job? That I can expound on in length.
Well, who's it going to be?
I don't know.
Oh.
It's determined by fall camp, which is another thing that's just what's bugged me Wednesday going back to Monson and Bolijack. It's not fall camp the first week in August.
It's summer camp.
Yeah. Why
Thank
can't
you.
we call it summer camp?
Because fall's the opposite of spring
Or just
somehow.
call
and
it
that just
training
got people.
camp and move along.
But if you have to
Camp.
put a seasonal designation
Spring ball
on it,
camp.
I call it training camp.
Yeah, training camp.
The NFL calls it training camp. They don't call it fall camp. And we'll be talking fall camp with the NFL here in about...
An hour and a quarter.
An hour and a quarter, he says. That's approximately 75 minutes.
8:30, Tanner Wall. Former BYU Cougar, now trying to make the Raiders roster. Defensive back, undrafted. He's had a couple months, his first impressions of the NFL.
He's been knocking out of the park with the agility test.
All right. Tanner Wall coming up at 8:30. Bob Casper, 9 o'clock, Real Golf Radio. Our draft for the Open Championship. Question of the day is next. Stay with us. What is trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Question of the day is next. Stay with us.
Welcome to This is Jay Scott and Ben Anderson.
Covering the Jazz for the Deseret News, she is Sarah Todd. I don't think Jackson Hayes is the solution. Nurk, I'm not sure if he's a solution either. What do you think the Jazz do as far as center going forward?
None of that is going to be a solution long term, right? But anybody that thinks that the Jazz going into this particular season being a legitimate title contender, that's not realistic. It doesn't have to be that the Jazz have their perfect center for the timeline for this team right now. This Jazz team needs to be able to prove, as constructed, that they're able to win games. The expectation is still, you make the playoffs, you definitely need to be a play-in team like at worst. Yeah, down the road, the center position is going to need to be fortified a little bit, but that can happen over the next few years kind of as they ramp their way up through the Western Conference.
Catch Jake and Ben afternoons from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The KSL Sports Zone and Beehive Meals are honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com/contest. And listen every Thursday afternoon to Jake and Ben for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. Question of the morning. Longtime TV executive Jim Williams lists ASU and Utah as the favorites if the Big Ten expands west. What do you think? Brian says, I think that'd be great. I could watch Ohio State and Michigan more often. Laughing, crying emojis, football and basketball.
Watch them more often. They're on TV
They're every
game.
week. Yeah, nice. How many do you want to see?
They have to play more games for you to be able to watch them more
Watch
often.
them play your teams or watch them play in your part of the country? Okay. But watch them play.
Well, do you live in Arizona or Salt Lake City?
See, there you go. Lance says this makes sense. Arizona brings the Phoenix market. Utah brings Salt Lake City. It's about markets, people, not teams. The Big Ten would be smart to plant their flags there. Ask the NBA, the Jazz, the NHL Mammoth, the next MLB expansion team, all rooted in Salt Lake City. Sorry, BYU, you're in Provo. Although it's a cute little town, you're somewhat irrelevant in Salt Lake. I rarely see blue here. And then...
I'm wearing blue right now.
And then they're off and running with lots of rivalry smack talk. That didn't take long.
Is it really market? Is that the big deal? I don't think.
No,
that's
I
a
don't
big
think
deal.
it. I think, and I think digital's on the horizon. So I think the markets and the cable bill that drove things when they added Rutgers and Maryland, it's different now. And Jim referenced that in there. He thinks it's different now too. If anything, I think BYU becomes more valuable in the streaming. You can cash in on that in a way with, they got 5,000 fans in this town and 10,000 fans in that town. And you can't really cash in on that in a cable market the
You
way
think
you
they
can
only got
streaming.
5,000 fans in this town?
Not in this particular town, but say in
That's what you
Middlesboro.
said.
As examples without naming the towns. Middlesboro, Tennessee, they have 5,000 people show up.
Middlesboro?
They go play in Atlanta. They have 10,000 people show up. You got fans scattered all
So
over
they
the
only
country.
have 5,000 more fans in Atlanta than they do Middlesboro, Tennessee?
Showing up to games. Don't know exactly how many they have. I guess you find out when you find out how many streaming subscriptions you're selling on Netflix, Prime Video, wherever, Apple, whoever the streamers end up being
BYU
down the road.
games are going to be on Netflix?
One day, I believe all of these games are going to be on streamer services.
One day?
Yes.
So is that like when they did MLB, that one weekend, when you say one day, it's not going to be all the games, it's going to be one day?
Okay, you're just trying to be confusing right now, and it's working. I know what I was talking about.
I don't understand. Well,
I
of
think
course
you
do.
I think you do know
And
what I'm
I
talking about.
don't live in your world. The financial.
I always think it's a treat
myriad
when
of
our
things.
when our 7 o'clock listeners find out about 9 o'clock PK.
And I always find it, how come you two analyze me and I never analyze you?
That's a good question.
Because you're freaking perfect and there's nothing to analyze. That's the implication.
I'm a lot of things in this world, but I'm definitely not perfect.
We're the closest thing to perfection since Stockton and Jesus.
Says you.
Well, I don't analyze your moods, your thing.
Sure.
You just go, and I just adapt and make the best of it.
You are a remarkable case study. I will say that.
And what are you?
Pretty average. It's not.
So it's not worth my time?
No, it probably is.
I don't have the brains nor the desire. I just let you be you.
I think the last part that we got to desire.
You got to be you. Morgan can't be Kyle. Kyle wasn't Urban.
Morgan has to be Ford.
You always hear that every time. I got to be myself. That's what the advice was. Well, if it's such sage advice, why is it so freaking common that everybody says it?
Yak, you were about to weigh in on this, and now you've backed away from the mic. Did you think better of it? You edit yourself in there?
Well, when we coach college football, his ears always perk up.
Well, no, I was going to say, PK, he does analyze us. He just doesn't do it on air.
That might
I
be
do it in the wee hours of the morning.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay.
2 a.m. You get up, make some notes to yourself.
Oh, yes. There we go.
I found a great couch to sleep on in this building when I can't sleep and I come in the wee hours of the morning. I discovered it the other day. I got great sleep on it. I had a wild dream, but I got great sleep on it. I just don't know that it's in your best interest to go running to the Big Ten. Like, that's the promised land. That's going to be, wow, I got to get to the Big Ten. Is it for Utah and BYU to one-up each other by going to the Big Ten? But is it really in your best interest to go to the Big Ten?
What are the terms? Without knowing that, hard to know. I think their change is coming.
Terms.
Are you going to be able to compete? You going to have enough money to compete? I think the biggest question,
and I think
you brought
money. That's the whole spiel.
I think you brought up. I think you're thinking about multiple questions over there, but I think at the forefront is: would these teams be able to compete in the Big Ten? Would they be able to win big in the Big Ten? If both got a taste of that, and the fan base wants more of it, it's not as easy as it looks.
Well, we've only had both winters, Mick Cronin, the UC Los Angeles basketball coach, whine up a friggin' storm. You know it's college basketball season when he's whining about the freaking Big Ten schedule.
All that travel.
Yeah.
How could they?
And he's not alone.
He is not alone. He is the loudest. He's got the biggest microphone. He's in the biggest market. They got a huge brand name, but you're right, he's not alone. Nobody's happy with the travel and then finding out that the visiting team got to town before you and is more rest than you, and you travel more miles than everybody else in the league.
Yeah. So do you really want that? Is it just so you can get a one-up on BYU for a few weeks? Because BYU, say this happens, Utah goes. Okay, the difference between the two is not going to be the level of difference that there was between Pac-12 and Independence.
I can see why you would say that.
That gap has been forever narrowed.
the gap between the Pac-12 and Independence G5
Was
with
huge.
no access to playoffs or Rose Bowl or
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
As
that was big.
time went on,
Right. And then
it
there's
grew bigger each year.
Yeah.
And you could see it in the recruiting. They weren't getting that type of recruit.
And Pac-12 to WCC, you could see a difference there.
Oh, my gosh. It was night and day.
Yeah. Big 10 to Big 12.
AJD Bonsa is not going to
Yeah.
play in the West Coast. And if he did, it would be Gonzaga. So that's changed. So I just don't know that that's the deal. And you must be in that conference. For what sake? For mediocrity?
There's a possibility that that's what will happen.
It'll be interesting to see because when the Devils went to the WAC to the Pac-10,
Pac-10.
people like to think that, there was years of struggle. Actually, it was reverse.
The best 5, and you can go look it up. The best 5 years were the first 5
Right,
years.
right off the
and
bat.
then pick
it was
another
a good
5.
10 years.
Yeah, and then start picking a.
It was in 1986.
But I even think the first 5 were better than the next 5. And you're right, the next 5 were pretty good.
Well, they went to the Rose Bowl in the second 5.
You're right. But there were so many years in the first 5 where they were 8-9 wins last weekend playing for the Rose Bowl. And
it extended all the way to 86.
It didn't break their way that often.
No. But
then in 86
times are
it
so
did.
radically different.
They are.
And then in 87, Cooper took off to go to Ohio State.
Was that year 8 maybe or 9 of being
I think
in
it
the
was
league?
78 was their first year.
Okay.
And so it was close to 10.
Yeah.
And then they've been in mediocrity ever since. But times changed on that, and we don't know the level of change that will be forthcoming. But the idea of, be careful what you wish for type of thing, because you're in a conference now that you could really compete. And that first year that they announced they were going to go to the Big 12, but they had to stay in the Pac-12 another year, right? So it's that in-between year. And that was the worst 3-year stretch of ASU football in its history. So they come up here and just get bludgeoned. Right? I mean, they were starting a tight end at quarterback. They were down to like their 5th guy, right? And the Devils just ran to the point where one of the coaches, and it wasn't Kyle, at Utah texted me, and I felt sorry for their guys because they had no chance. They weren't very good to begin with, and then injuries just battered them. And that's one of their coaches texting me that, who's still on the staff. And but before the game, one of their athletic officials, an associate AD type level, says to me, "This is awesome." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he says, "We're going to go in the Big 12, and we're going to be able to compete every year. This is where we need to be." And he said, "We are so excited about this." And sure enough, we know what happens. I mean, shockingly, right?
Won it the first year and really solid second year.
Yeah, 6-3 is not bad.
Nope.
Particularly factor in the injury. So they are ecstatic about it. And they've got another situation there. Because to me, and not to me, but to the powers that be, they're joined at the hip at the U of A. And it doesn't make any sense, from my perspective, to have them leave without Arizona. Because that's and the lawmakers are going to be involved in that, right?
We've seen that before. State legislators get involved.
And you need to go, in my view, you need to go as a tandem. You've done it twice. And to the people there, it's not a big national rivalry by any stretch, but it's ours. We got this, and it matters to the people there. And that's the sign of a rivalry when you got literally 2 teams at 4-7, and everybody's into it. And that's been the case. That literally has happened. And teams are winning in overtime via blocked extra points. Of all things. Not once, but twice.
Right.
And it means a lot. So to lose that, man, do you really want that? Now here it's different. I don't think one's private, one's public. They're not joined at the hip, even though they are.
It is different. And we're both of the same generation of sports fans that it seems normal, it seems right. And as someone who's never lived in Arizona, I've enjoyed turning those games on because I know what it's about. It's the thing I love about rivalry weekend. I know what a rivalry game is like, and I can appreciate lots of them. And,
we all can.
It bugs me that a bunch of them have gone away. So as much as I want to agree with you, I do wonder if they'll just cast the rivalry aside because so many schools have. And sometimes, politics isn't going to intervene in a Missouri-Kansas rivalry and it goes away. But with Texas A&M, you think, okay, the state legislature might do something, but they don't. Mm-hmm. Now they've come back together again. But they may part again. I mean, we'll have to see. So
I think they would still play the game, I would hope.
Right. But when it gets moved to the first 3 weeks, it's not the same thing.
It's not.
It's better than nothing, and I'll take it, but it's not the same thing. And we saw that here. And we've seen it in other places. The Oregon and Washington schools are going through it right now.
Yeah. Right. I just don't understand what's the big you've got to go.
You want to play at the highest level. I think that it's...
But this level is high enough.
For you, but somebody else will say they want to play at the highest level.
You're in the highest level.
There's this
Once you get in December, you're in the highest level.
There's a feeling the Big Ten is going to separate and pull away. And that it's an unfair fight right now. But there could literally be the divide that Kyle Whittingham always talked about when he was here. It's coming. I think to a lot of people it feels like it is coming. And they want to be on the right side of that divide. And not everyone, and maybe not the Arizona legislature. Some people would be willing to sacrifice to give that up. Nebraska gave up a lot of tradition to get on what they saw as the right side of the line, and they have set themselves up for a long stretch of mediocrity. And they thought they were mediocrity before. They were mad when they were going 9-4. And now 9-4 would be awesome. Be the best season in a decade. So everything you say is really at risk. We can see that. I mean, Missouri, what did they get by going to the SEC? Or what did Arkansas get by going to the SEC? Or South Carolina? They got more money. Have they won anything? And maybe they weren't winning that much before. Arkansas, I think, had a period where they were. Missouri, not so much.
So you're going to go on a speculation. That's too big of a move to go on a speculation. Because if they're going to separate and they want you, wouldn't they take you upon the separation? When it becomes crystal clear, we have to go. Like, Utah didn't want to go to the Big 12. We can say whatever we want.
They did not want to go. I totally believe that. And I think lots of our listeners do.
But they had to go.
It got to a point they had to.
Right.
Everybody sat around and stared at each other. Colorado was willing to go. Colorado just went and did their own thing. But Oregon and Washington and Arizona and Utah, they're all looking at each other like, who's going first and sinking this thing? Mm-hmm. We don't want to be the one. We want to be the one who says later, well, we had to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Cal and Stanford didn't want to go to the ACC.
And here they are.
Right. So wouldn't they be available?
We want to travel across the country.
No one does that.
To Raleigh, Durham.
Yeah, and what did they have in basketball in Charlotte? Cal versus Stanford.
Yeah, they traveled across the country, and whoever lost that game was going right back home.
Yeah, and neither team was going to go to the NCAAs unless they won the whole thing.
Absolutely
which they weren't going to win the whole thing.
Possibly going to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
There were way too many good teams in front of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So what
a waste.
We're putting these student athletes through this grief.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. But if it comes to it, and they do this big separation, if they got to have them now, why wouldn't they got to have them then?
There is a chance that'd be true, but there's a chance by then they would have found somebody else who was good enough.
So you're going to do all these things on a chance. You're going to just redo everything. Take all your Eastern European tennis players and make them fly all over the country to go play tennis because there might be a chance that something may happen down the line. Is that logical? Is that good? That good business sense? Because something might happen.
I think there are a lot of things that have happened in college sports that are not good business sense.
So is this good business sense?
If that's bad business sense, fall in line. Paying the coach, giving the coach that kind of contract with guaranteed money and then having to write that big check when he walks away, not good business sense. Flying kids across the country for one game that seems pretty pointless, not good business sense.
So why do it?
Making all the other sports play in the same league that football's playing in and driving up all your travel costs, not good business sense. And yet they're doing all these things.
Why? Okay, doesn't mean you have to keep doing it.
It does not. They could make changes. And their changes are coming. I think we all expect changes are coming. There's no way. I mean, college sports is going through too much of a change to suddenly have a bunch of status quo. Whether the changes will be smarter business sense, I have no idea. I mean, just literally the deal we're seeing with Utah. You got people who think it's the future, and you got people who think it's a huge mistake.
Whatever is attractive right now about Utah and the Devils, that attractiveness is not going to decrease. It's going to grow. So if there's this big divide coming and you want those programs because of all the positives, and there's plenty of positives, there would be more positives. So they'd want you then. So why jump and wait for this big divide, which may not happen? He's now of all the changes, that is 1,000 times more than any change we've ever had.
I am curious if we get to 2030 and everybody, including me, has been waiting for this big, whatever it's going to be, right? And if it's a small move around the edge and they wait and they all sign shorter deals and they wait to figure out how does streaming really take off and what does that look like, and they wait for the SEC to be available. Because the one league that isn't up right away is the SEC. And then the entire ACC, you can buy your way out in the short run, but the entire ACC isn't up to the middle of the next decade.
Big Ten doesn't have enough power to separate itself.
And that's why I wonder if we'll see they pick off two teams in the ACC, the way USC and UCLA got picked off, the way Oklahoma and Texas got picked off, the way Oregon and Washington got picked off.
What does it bring to them?
A couple more markets and more money. And they inch their way towards whatever this is going to be in the long run instead of doing something
so
big
now
and
we're
dramatic.
10 years away. At that point, I don't give a crap.
I get it. If we get all amped up and we wait for, I don't know, we've been waiting for a couple of years already. So we're waiting 5, 6, 7 years for this, and then they kick the can down the road another 3 to 5 years?
I'm not waiting for it because I don't think it's going to happen.
You might be right.
So, and
I don't think
don't
they
want
know
somebody
yet.
to go because something might happen in the middle of the next decade.
I don't think they know yet, so I don't see how we can know. It's one of those deals where be ready if they come calling. And maybe they will.
Well, you don't have anything to be ready for. Just, you want to come? Yeah, I mean, were they ready for the Pac-12? Not any more than they had been ready. I don't think they need to do anything to get ready. Once the thing happens, then you have to make changes. But you can't make those changes until it actually happens.
When you used to talk to Coach Shaw whenever Stanford and would come rotating around to your table at the Pac-12 media days, and he told you, I don't know if it's on the air or off the air or both, about at some point, we're going to get back to it's going to be more regional, make more sense. That was off the air. Okay. I know that everybody's waiting for him to add 2 teams in the West, and then there's 6 teams. There's still a lot of travel. They had 4 and go to 8, and then you have 7 games in regional, and you can just say, we're going to have 2 big intersectional, made-for-TV mega games, and everybody will play 2 of them. You'll play 1 of them at home, so now you're only going across the country once. And they could limit it with basketball in the same way. So I do wonder, as far as this, they're going to take 2 more teams, and you better be one of the 2. And it make more sense to take 4? You can still create the mega games, but honestly, is anybody dying to see USC, Illinois, USC, Purdue, USC, Michigan State? People are dying to see USC, Ohio State, and USC, Michigan, and USC, Penn State. So you can play a couple of the mega games and then keep everything else regional. USC to Maryland and to Rutgers and to Minnesota, and I just don't know that all that makes that much sense, and people are craving that.
They're not.
So let him more teams get more regional, but preserve room for a couple of.
You're craving
big games.
your team. That's about it.
Yeah. And I do wonder, we would see when the Pac-12 came to town, and actually we see it with the Big 12 to a degree, depending on the school, you'd see a lot of people wearing the gear walking around town. And they'd be here on Friday, Saturday, before the inevitable Saturday night game. And you just think, okay, USC fans would fly to Salt Lake, because it's a quick hour flight. It's not that big a deal. And USC fans, mixed complaining about basketball, and there are not as many people traveling basketball. But I just can't imagine you want to travel with your team, halfway, 2/3, all the way across country. It's exhausting for the kids, exhausting for the fans, too. That's not a 1-hour flight up to the Bay Area to see a game or to Salt Lake or to Phoenix.
Nothing.
That's easy, you know, as opposed to, okay, we got to change planes in Detroit or Minnesota to get to what are you doing?
Understood.
We'll fly to Chicago. We'll have a layover. You know, we'll get into, what is it, Lafayette? West Lafayette, right where Purdue is. No directs out of
You don't
LA.
want to go to East Lafayette, trust me.
Oh, boy. And South Lafayette, don't get him started.
Yeah.
I get it. Where are they going? I don't know. Some of the moves have made sense. Some of the moves, not so much. Some of the moves I get, even if I don't like them. But some of the moves are kind of crazy and out there. And I get there. You got all this invested in the rivalry, all these decades of memories and big games and all that. And walking away from it, it sucks.
My grandmother spent over 80 years living in the same house on Lafayette Street in West Orange, New Jersey. That's amazing.
That home served her well.
Yes. Because she grew up in the home. My grandmother, Carmela, marries this Italian immigrant from Naples, Italy, Elmer. Elmer then buys the house that my grandmother was raised in. They move in, raise their 10 kids there, where my mother grew up. And the street, Lafayette was always a tricky word to spell, but because they lived on that same street.
Had it down cold.
Yeah. And it was, amazingly, the entire block was all Italians. That's the way it was back then.
Back in the day.
Yeah. The house has since been sold. It was in the Ciamillo family for over 100 years, that same home. We've lost that. And now do we need to lose the rivalries too? You see how I tied that together?
That was beautiful. You really put a bow on it.
Yeah.
Right at break time.
Yeah, and people can relate to that.
Trained professional.
Yeah. Think about the sadness when your adult kids had to sell the home that you were raised in because your parents finally passed. It was emotional. You don't want that.
I did not want that, and I was really happy that my dad sold that house and was in a condo apartment up in Orange County, whatever the heck it was. And I had to go in and close that out, and that was hard enough. It was the stuff, but it wasn't a place I cared about.
Now, the good thing is you got tens of thousands, if not more, in terms of profit that was divided among the three, and that's why has led to your increased financial
paycheck is why I live in Utah.
Wellness, yeah. The inheritance combined with that, man.
You saved a school $600,000?
$600,000.
I see what you drive.
You do see what I drive, and you're totally overselling it.
I was like, that's
No,
maybe not
you're
the
shrewd
flex.
because you spend the money on other things.
That's
you don't
true.
need a big fancy car to get from here to there.
I do not.
I got a big TV.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm
that
mostly
allows you to get the big TV.
I'm mostly in the car by myself. I don't need a big fancy car.
So that's the whole thing. That's what I'm
No,
talking
I'm too
about.
into myself to be
It
annoyed by
wasn't, but
other
it was a
people.
spectacular pivot.
Your shrewdness financially.
You just adapted.
I sit back in amazement.
You just adapted. All right, DJ and PK coming up. Tanner Wall's going to join us. What's it like to try to make an NFL team, an undrafted free agent? But is his timing perfect? We will get to that coming up when Tanner Wall, the former BYU safety, joins us at 8:30, trying to make the Raiders as a defensive back. We will talk with him. Stay with us.
And now, a look at traffic from the KSL Traffic Center.
It's heavy and slow going through West Valley City. If you're on the Banger Highway right now, we're on the Mountain View corridor between 41st and 35th South. Also, I-15 patchy and slow from Draper to the South Interchange as you head towards downtown right now. Looking for a new ride? Doug Smith offers great savings on new and used vehicles, big selection, great prices, and great people. Visit them in American Fork, Spanish Fork, Linden, or at heydoug.net. With your KSL traffic update, I'm Jay Catch right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeComb.
Nobody cares about the score. Washington did beat the Jazz 92-88. AJ DeBonsa, his first game in Summer League, had some moments. Darren Peterson still put up the points, but not quite at the level and quite the efficiency that we saw in the 2 games in Salt Lake City. So everybody out there is like, oh, AJ won that head-to-head battle.
You've got to remove loyalty, which is hard to do. And I think in this case, there's a lot of people that are torn in this valley because, one guy, AJ, played here locally, and then obviously Darren being picked. So I just actually sat back like a coach would sit back, and I watched it. And I think what AJ showed is what AJ can do. Basically, on one end, AJ was kind of being AJ, and on the other end, Washington was hell-bent on not even letting him get a catch.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ PK, it's time for the Copper Rock Open Championship giveaway. Caller 12-801-575-ZONE. Right now will be assigned a golfer in the Open Championship this week. The winner gets a Copper Rock branded polo, Copper Rock outerwear piece, a hat, and a $100 gas gift card. It's brought to you by Copper Rock, where the pros play.
I have Copper Rock gear.
You have a lot of gear. You're always wearing logo gear of one type or another. You got Michigan family. That's why you're wearing that Lions little pullover right now. That looks good. Their silver and blue is classic.
I got a vest, I think. A vest and a hoodie. Copper Rock.
Question up on our Facebook page. Tiger and Bachmeier in concert. What do you think of their talents?
I'm impressed.
Michael, I could have done without that. I'd rather hear PK sing, and that's saying something.
No. If the people want me to sing, I'll sing. I don't want to, but if they want me to, I'll sing. Whoa, my love. Yeah, I'll sing if you want me to. My darling. I'm righteous, brother.
Things I didn't know I was signing up for.
But the guy said he'd rather hear me sing.
He did.
It's nothing I wanted to do.
And then he added, and that's saying something.
I hunger for your touch alone. Yeah. If they want me to sing, we'll put it out in public. If you want me to sing, I'll sing. It's nothing I want to do, believe me. I got to please the people.
I think getting up and singing in public is that's a big ask. I mean, I'm impressed that they can get up and do it. Anyone who can do that. We had that clip from Morgan Scally singing. That was impressive.
No, that's
a big ask.
That when he sings, he's Morgan Ford.
Morgan Ford that's the stage name. Mm-hmm. The football name is Morgan Scally.
Right.
But musically speaking,
right,
he becomes Morgan Ford.
Yeah.
His alter ego,
yeah,
if you will.
Right. Yes, absolutely. No, I think it's fun that they want to be themselves, and being themselves here has worked for them in a different environment, that they can adjust. You know, BYU is a different environment, obviously, particularly if you haven't been involved in the environment, then it is extremely different. And they come here and they flourish. That's what it's all about. To see DeBonsa talk so proudly and positively of it, that makes BYU fans feel good. That you can come here, we can embrace you, you can embrace us, and away you go. And that they can do that. And people respond. Yeah, it helps that the kid looks like a really good quarterback, and he led them to 12 wins, whatever they had last year. That's impressive, obviously. And his brother is along as a sidekick, and they can get out there and do stuff. And you gotta admire them for wanting to do that.
I think fans largely eat that stuff up. I think anything that fans can get from their players and coaches who are like, oh, I have that in common with that person, whatever it is. Hobbies, talents, favorite vacation spots, it doesn't matter. Just a little something where they feel like there's some association. They got something in common. The fans just eat that stuff up.
Right. They sang
you don't
Margaritaville, too.
You don't have to be the best musician in the world. You don't have to be the best, whatever the hobby or talent is.
No one is the best musician in the world except the best musician in the world. And that title is held by Keith Urban.
Oh, I thought you were going to say McCartney so you could tell the golf story one more time.
No.
Come on up and join us. Oh, my gosh, I'm joining Paul McCartney.
Keith Urban is my nomination for best musician in the world.
Ever or active?
Active, right now.
Okay. I didn't know if you're going all time.
No.
Right.
No, right now. The only one person can hold that distinction.
It's the top dog.
And it's Keith Urban. He did a remake that's out right now. It's a current new song. Summer Breeze. Makes Me Feel Fine. And it's way better than the original because he's way better than everybody else. He's the Tom Brady of musicians.
If you want to see the Bachmeiers in concert, go to our Facebook page, DJ and PK.
Well, I think go to First America Credit Union. They'll be out there. Is that what it's called out there? Used to be USANA.
Who is sponsoring it now? I don't know. I read
Utah First Credit Union.
You do the thing.
Utah First Credit Union.
It's
Utah First Credit Union.
Yeah.
Well, you had the first part right, but you messed up the other part.
Well, you said you didn't know, and you read the freaking liner 3 times a week, 4 times a week.
I don't have it in front of me right now.
You should do too.
Nope, I really don't. Got a Bar W beef, got a Real Golf Radio, got a Beehive Meals, don't have that.
You should know that. You did it yesterday.
DJ PK, when we come back, the list, the best in sports. This is the stuff you crave. It's like the soundtrack of our lives. We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
We all have routines. I'm Jabron, and with diabetes, mine was finger sticks. Sometimes I skip them because they hurt. The Freestyle Libre 3CGM changed that. It gives me glucose insights without finger sticks. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
Finger sticks are required if your glucose alarms or readings do not match symptoms, or when you see check blood glucose symbol for the first 12 hours. The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Summer of lists. You found a beauty, PK. The most satisfying sounds in sports. Gave a top 10 list. Everybody's got a little bias on this, depending on what your sport is. It's the sound that's going to resonate with you.
Well, I've got one that's not on there at all, and I guarantee you it is the number one.
They had a good number one. Number 10, a clean boxing punch. I'm boxing enough to know what that sounds like. Guess I've heard it documented.
Come here, I'll show it to you.
Nice. Number 9, a golf ball getting crushed.
Yeah, that's a beautiful sign.
You play enough, you don't have to watch a shot. You can hear it and know if it's a good shot off the tee or off the fairway or whatever. Yeah. You know right away.
Yeah.
And when I was just starting to play, I didn't, and now it's crystal clear to me. Have my back turned, hear something, think, uh-oh.
And once you hear
that's going the
sound
wrong way.
of club hitting ground, particularly a wood, a driver, it's not going to be good.
Nope. Number 8, the word clean gets used. A clean tennis shot. Ball popping off a racket. I think we all know that just casually because tennis announcers don't talk while the point's in progress, so you can hear that. Number 7, catching a baseball with the glove. The pop as the ball hits the leather.
Okay.
Number 6, when a stadium cheer, I would have gone with the roar of the crowd.
That's Vince Scully when he was going to retire. What would he miss the most?
The roar of the crowd.
The literal roar of the crowd. 4 words. And he gave 100 interviews on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when Lavelle Edwards was retiring. He was asked 100 times. And his answer always, consistently, was that we made game day a special day in Provo, Utah.
It's an event.
Right.
People rally around it.
Yeah.
Built a sense of community.
And they got that little thing in the parking lot there just west of the stadium. And they call it the Canyon or something. They've got activities and they got a band. I think Tim Lacomb's band is playing one of these games. I think it might be the Notre Dame game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He hadn't told me that. I'll quiz him on that.
Yeah. Because he was going to do it last year and something happened or what have you. And now they're going to do it this year. And I believe it's the Notre Dame game, which that's a game.
6 is the roar of the crowd. 5 is pool balls hitting each other. That is a good sound.
Billiards?
Crack of the pool balls.
My grandfather owned a pool hall.
Mm-hmm.
It was right next door to that house that I just showed you. There was
the house was next door to the pool hall?
Mm-hmm.
And so the commute was just walk out and walk over. Boom.
20 feet, yeah. There was a little drive, the house, the driveway, the pool hall. And then there was he was a little bit of an entrepreneur, and he ran a little convenience store, right? And the pool hall probably had 10 pool tables. And the word was that when he was younger, yeah, who showed up to shoot pool?
Frank.
Yeah. Now, I grew up with that. No idea if it was true or not, but that's the story that they all told.
Nice. Number 4, the sound of a slap shot. Dylan Gunther's one-timer.
Well, as long as it's a wind-up and it's this bullet that they shoot, and you can picture it from the angle.
Yep.
Either left or right, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you can see the pass is coming, and the guy is winding up, man.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
One time.
That's the vision of hockey that we all have. Not some rebound at the net where it's flicking around, nobody can see it, and you just pop
stuff it in. Yeah.
We're all talking about he just does a full wind-up. It's like a 300
You're in the circle on the power play.
And just rifles that thing in there. Yeah, so I'd go with that. That's a cool one.
Number 3, the bowling strike. I do love the thump. The ball hits that, and then there's a sense of anticipation as it rolls. Thump.
Yes, and I won the Seacrest Hall Intramural Championship.
Really?
Yes. 2 guys said, join this bowling. We're going to be the bowling team.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay. And they had a regular season, and they had a playoff.
Uh-huh.
And I rarely showed up in the regular season because it didn't matter. And then in the playoff, I had to be there. And it's literally the championship thing. And I'm up. And I got to get 7 pins. And we win the whole thing. And these guys were hardcore bowlers. Now, I had my own bowling ball. I had my name on it.
Is that a Jersey thing or is that an Arizona thing?
I was at NAU.
No, I'm saying that you got hooked on bowling. You got your own bowling ball.
I wasn't really hooked on bowling. My sister, I moved out. My sister's much older than me.
Mm-hmm.
When I moved out to Phoenix, my parents stayed behind.
Mm-hmm.
So she was my guardian. She was in a bowling league. So she got me a bowling ball.
See, I would think summer bowling could be big in Phoenix because it's so hot and the alley's air conditioned, and just looking for something indoors away from the 100 and whatever temperature.
You're just filling me with stories. I feel like you now. So I didn't even get to finish the story, and I got another story that adds to that.
Okay.
Which story do you want?
Anyone that's entertaining would be fine.
I got 2 stories now.
Okay, let her rip.
This is you. This is what Cole makes fun of you. You start a story, and then there's 15 offshoots of other stories. And then by the time you get back to the other story, we've all checked out. So you understand what I'm saying, Yak?
Don't drag me into this.
But it's the truth. He knows it. Okay, I'll give you the NAU.
Speaking of story offshoots, I don't remember anymore. Okay, NAU bowling. Go ahead. You need 7. So you need 7 pins to win, or 7 to tie and 8 to win.
7 to win.
7 to win. Okay.
And I got 2. What do you call them? 2 shots, 2 frames. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. And so I stand there, and I always throw the ball straight.
Not 2 frames, but you get the ball twice within 1 frame.
Okay, I wasn't sure what the wording was. And so I'm standing there, and I turn behind, and these 2 guys are on their knees.
It's like you don't have to be very good to get 7 out of 10 when you get 2.
Right,
no.
right.
That was my
first
one
thought.
under pressure, maybe it's a little wayward. I mean, you probably get it with the
right
first
down
one.
the middle.
Right, yeah.
It's not going to be this big curve where it comes in the angle.
What do you care about a 7-10 split? 8's a winning number.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I turn around and I look at these guys and thinking, relax.
I got this.
Yeah, this is I could granny style it.
It's a basketball equivalent of tie game, and you got 2 free throws.
Yeah.
You only got
So
I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, I feel zero pressure here.
Yeah.
And so I do it, and we win, and they get all excited.
On the first ball?
No, I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Probably not.
Oh.
Maybe so. I don't remember. But I thought, I got 2 shots to get 7 pins. I am not going to roll a gutter ball on either because I don't do the curve thing.
Right.
I'm just going to roll it right down the middle.
That'll take care of business.
Yes. So we win, and they're all excited. Now I'll go to my other story about the Phoenix thing.
Mm-hmm.
First year of marriage, we were literally only married just a few months. I think like 3 months. July 4th. And we're in an apartment where we pay for all the electric stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that thing set on 80, man, because I'm still at I'm at the other newspaper, the Mesa thing, but I'm making $16,000, and I make $300 a week. And so I kept that thing toasty because we didn't have the money.
Right.
And so we're going to go to movies. The Fiesta Mall, which I don't even think exists, was right across the street from our apartment. And they had movie theaters there. And I go in there, and I go, let's go see a movie. And, okay, 2 o'clock show of whatever. We're sold out. Okay, how about this show? We're sold out. I asked like 5 shows. They're all sold out. Why do you tell me everything is sold out? Why'd you make me go through the whole thing? Right? And then right next to it is a bowling alley. I say, well, they got free air conditioning. Let's go bowling. So we go bowling, and you know how they have like one scores table and then seats that cover 2 lanes? Mm-hmm. Well, the 2 of us are bowling, and the guy that is right next to us, he keeps trying to badger me to sign up for the fall league. Like, no, I don't want to sign up for a league. I'm only here because it's free air conditioning. I rent the shoes. I still got the ball. I got the ball to this day. It's in a garage. I still got that bowling ball, right? And so they kept trying to pester me to sign up. And I said, no, not happening. No. I'm only here for the free air conditioning. So those are my bowling stories. I got 2 bowling stories.
Now, having gone far and wide, perhaps we should finish the list.
Yeah,
the
and I'm going to give you
3.
which tops the list, and everyone will agree to it that they don't have the right sound, and I'm going to give you the sound that everyone, particularly in this town, if you're a Jazz fan, you want to hear.
2 is Swish, the sound of the basketball going through the net. As Hot Rod would say, the cowhide globe hitting home. Snap of the nets.
All right, that's decent.
And then number 1, the crack of a baseball bat.
Well, the sound of the ball.
Coming
you
off
don't
the
want
bat.
to have the ball, the bat cracking. That's not the sound.
I don't think they were implying a broken bat. I think they were implying the ball off the bat.
I'm a wordsmith.
Well,
I take
you're the
words.
one who put the list up, and I'm
I
reading the
take
list,
words for they're intended to
So
be.
are you going to
mean.
go basketball sound? You're going to go with the squeak of the shoes?
No.
The bounce of the ball coming up off the hardwood?
No. It's not particular to basketball. It applies across the board.
The thunder of hooves coming down the home stretch.
Oh, that's an awesome sound. That's really good. Thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
Because I love that pounding that they make on the dirt.
Is awesome.
It's stuck in my mind at 10 years old.
You've been to the track a million times.
Yes.
I've been once.
That's a great one.
One time.
That's the best contribution you've ever made to the show in 25 years.
I hope that's not true. So,
no, but it's awesome. I'm praising you right now.
I had a friend from college. There's a group of like 10 guys or so. We're in touch. And so he grew up with a dad.
It's a story, Yock. But we got to give him to him because I just gave 2.
Who took him to the track a lot. Much as you got taken to the track. So he took us, we went to Santa Anita one day. Somehow he convinced a bunch of the guys. So the whole group's going.
Out by Arcadia.
So we went under the tunnel underneath the track and came up in the infield. And we're on the rail.
Super cool.
And everyone's on a rail, and the horses are coming there. And I've watched horse racing on TV, but I don't know anything about it. I certainly don't know anything about these horses, right? But I can't see past the people on the rail. But I can hear them coming. And that pounding, like, it just, you can feel it in your heart. And then they go by, and they are gone in a second. I mean, it's a blur going by. Mm-hmm. There's no chance I could identify a horse or a jockey or anything. Just, it was awesome.
Yes.
It was awesome. And it's not my thing. You know, when it's your thing.
I understand.
When you played high school baseball, you've heard the crack of the ball coming off the bat a million times, or high school basketball, you've a million shots going through the net, shooting free throws, and the net snapping.
Mm-hmm.
I've only heard that one time, but I was very
That's
impressed.
it. You only got on track once?
Once. I've never, ever been to horse racing at Del Mar, which is crazy given how much time I spent at the fairgrounds. But never, the racing season was after the fair. I was always there for the fair. I was never there for the horses.
Your parents.
Nobody in my family was into it.
Gambling was tawdry, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. I had grandparents who'd play this penny card game, but they would never gamble for more than a penny. They'd play this game triple.
Living on the edge.
A penny, yeah. Yeah, a big day, 29 cents. And they'd live through the Depression. They had their whole thing.
Did you guys change your names?
Dad would do the football pool. He was a high school teacher, and they'd have a football pick'em pool, and you put in like a buck. So Dad would do that, but that was the most he ever did. They were not. You know all these stories about going to casinos. I had an aunt who was into the casinos, but I never went with her. Never. She was a great aunt, actually.
I was gambling at the casinos at 16.
She would leave San Diego before all the tribes and their casinos all over San Diego.
You really grew up like the Waltons.
They go to Laughlin. My grandfather, who actually would have been Grandpa Walton, hated the Waltons. I was there. That's not what it's like. My grandmother would watch it. He'd complain about it every single week. John Boy, the little goody two-shoes. Oh, he couldn't stand it.
Branches
he loathed
of a
it.
story.
David Boy.
Yeah, it is.
This is.
Yeah.
David Boy. We got a new nickname.
David Boy. Davy Boy.
Writing the family history decades later after the war.
And that was a great sound, and I'm glad you brought that up. I should have had that. I'm disappointed in myself.
That should go in top 10, and Bounce's boxing punch was number 10.
Okay,
Drops
fine.
off.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've been there and you can visualize that sound, which I can a million times over, that is a powerful sound.
It's such a powerful thing. You don't need the million. You just need the one. Super impressive.
Right.
All right, what's your one?
For me, it was a frequent. It wasn't a one-shot deal. No, mine applies to all sports.
Okay.
Particularly here, I just use the Jazz, but I mean, it is pop, 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 pop. I get paid for this. It is a popping sound. Pop.
The popping of the pads at a football game?
No. Pop. This sound.
You got it, Yak? You know what it is?
Every team sport wants this sound. In baseball, they do it too much. But it's the ultimate sound. Every team sport. Pop. Pop.
I wonder if this is going to make more sense when I know what the heck you're doing. Because right now I'm lost. I'm looking at Yak. He's lost.
This is the sound. That you want. You strive for this sound. The Knicks had it.
Then sing Freddie Mercury.
The Knicks had it.
The Knicks had it.
Yes.
It's a championship sound.
Yes.
Is that the start of a song?
No.
Okay.
It's a sound.
I have it. I got it.
What is it, Yak?
Champagne corks pop in. When they're popping into the locker rooms, yeah.
Okay.
That is the sound that every team sport wants to hear.
And as he points out, in the MLB, they do that for literally every single
they do it too much.
Series.
Yeah.
But you want the ultimate. You want to be in that locker room. I was in the locker room when Michael Jordan, you may have heard of him,
I have,
won his first NBA championship. I've done some cool things in his business, and that was right there. And I had a towel over my head so I didn't get champagne because I had to work. And you want that pop. And they ran out of pop. And they were collecting coins to get the soda machine in the fabulous form, putting in quarters, and then bringing back root beer or whatever and dumping it on everybody. Yes, you want the sound of that. That should be the number one sound. And Yak racked his brain.
And got it.
And now both of you think That guy over there, the blowhard, he's got stuff sometimes he comes up with occasionally, and it's the right thing. Mm-hmm. Now say it with me, you two, on the count of 3. The sound. 3, 2, 1. Pop. Thank you.
DJ and PK. I've been in the wrong cities for that. San Diego, Sacramento, Salt Lake.
Seattle, San Francisco, too.
Nope, Seattle and San Francisco popped the corks. They popped the corks on the champagne. Well, maybe the Chargers did back in 63.
The dream will stay alive.
Okay.
It will always be chased.
Yeah. DJ and PK, when we come back, Tanner Wall's chasing the dream. Raiders defensive back trying to make the roster as an undrafted free agent. We'll talk with former BYU Cougar next. Bob Casper, Real Golf Radio, the draft, the Open Championship coming up at 9 o'clock. Stay with us.
And now, a look at traffic from the KSL Traffic Center.
Got heavy and slow traffic through Lehigh on northbound I-15 due to an earlier crash still sitting in the HOV lane and the left shoulder, so be aware of that if you're going through that area. Northbound Bangor Highway still very slow between 41st South and 35th South if you're out in West Valley at this moment. Attention property managers, customers see your parking lot first. If it's cracked, they're already walking away. Call GoPave Utah. Seal coating, crack sealing, striping, patching across the Wasatch Front is available now by going to GoPaveUtah.com. With your KSL traffic update, I'm Jake Hatch right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeComb.
Shehan Jayaraj, CBS Sports, joining us.
All the guys that came through, I mean, we were crazy impressed with the players. Anything you gleaned that maybe surprised you or took note of from those days?
I mean, there was a level of confidence from everybody, honestly, that felt a little different. And maybe it's just, sort of naivete with the way that rosters are these days and feeling like, man, we got to fill in some holes and all this sort of stuff. But, when I talked to some of the middle class and even lower middle class teams, there were some coaches that honestly spoke a lot more confidently about their rosters. I think that the depth of the conference is going to be really interesting this year. And obviously we've had it in the conversation of Texas Tech schedule, of BYU schedule, things like that. But kind of think that the middle to lower middle class of the Big 12 might be a little better than we expected.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
America First Credit Union has everything you need.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Camp is approaching. Fall camp to some people, summer camp to others, or simply training camp if you want to get to it. The college and the pros getting ready to get going here. We got local guys trying to make NFL rosters. These are the good old days, PK. Have we ever had this many guys, Cougars, Utes, Aggies, in the NFL, last cuts in the NFL, on practice squads waiting to get in? We got guys all over the place now. A reflection, I guess, of these programs growing, having more money, and climbing the ladder in the world of college football.
Sure.
DJ PK, we're joined now by Tanner Wall, former BYU star, now trying to make the Raiders. Tanner, good morning.
Good morning. How we doing?
We are doing well, Tanner. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you. Just enjoying the last couple of days before heading back down to Vegas here before training camp.
I'm curious, going from the BYU, the baby blues, and it's got the goody two-shoe reputation, to the Raiders, which I think this is like a 20-year-old or 30-year-old rep, but nonetheless, the silver and black, anything goes, just win, baby. Is it really just different, or is it just football?
It's different, but at the same time, it's the same. Yeah. I mean, like you said, football is football. We've done some cool team meetings and just kind of learning the history of the Raiders and Al Davis and, who he was and what kind of players he liked and the style of players that have kind of historically been associated with the silver and black. So we're definitely trying to still maintain that, but I think Coach Kubiak's bringing his own spin to that. But I'm excited to see it all come together this season.
You've been there, right? The draft is in April, and then they've got a lot of stuff that you've got to do as a team and as an individual. Tell us about all the stuff that's already been going on before the actual training camp gets underway?
Yeah, so NFL offseason, they kind of break it up into what they call like phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. You've probably heard the term OTAs.
Yeah.
OTAs are not mandatory by any means, but every player on our roster was there, so that gives you kind of a taste of exactly how important they are, especially for a team with the new coach and a lot of new stuff going on. But so the veterans, they started phase 1, which is just like working out with the strength and conditioning staff and some walkthroughs, that kind of stuff, in April. Rookies, we had our rookie mini camp the first weekend in May. So all the rookies come down, whether you're a drafted guy, a free agent signed guy, or just a guy who they invited for mini camp, just to kind of take a look at. The mini camp invites are kind of like tryout guys. And then after that, they pretty much roll the rookies straight into the OTAs. So we caught like a week of phase 2 where there's no crossover. So there's no O versus D during phase 2, but we're still on the field for like hour to an hour 20 every day, going through the installs, doing walkthroughs, doing more stuff against, our coaches and stuff who are lined up at receiver. We're giving each other looks. And then when OTAs start, we had, 10 practices where, we're 2 hour 10 practices where we're, doing lots of team periods, lots of good on good crossover, lots of special teams work. So that wrapped up. And then the rookies, we stayed for about another week and a half, 2 weeks after, just to get some more work in and do a couple things. And then we got our little break. So, but rookies, we report next week. So our report day is the 23rd, but training camp starts on the 29th. So this is that little summer break that everyone gets right before training camp starts. And then it's straight into it. I was just looking at the calendar, a little different from college. Training camp, you have 12 practices before your first preseason game. Different from, a college camp. So it's a quick turnaround. So that's why, OTAs and everyone being there for that is so important, just to get a jump on a lot of that stuff.
The Raiders, the recent history obviously isn't good. They won 4 games under Antonio Pierce, 4-13. They let him go. They brought in Pete Carroll. They went 3-14, a game worse, and let him go. So those recent results would suggest to me there are no guaranteed jobs and everybody's competing. But it is pro sports. Some guys are making a lot of money. Some guys do have reputations. And maybe coaches have brought in some of, quote unquote, their guys. So maybe there is a feel there's some guys set there. On the other hand, there's not a lot of guaranteed money in the end. So even if you're making money, they can take it away from you and let you go in some cases. So I'm curious how locked in people feel and how much comfort there is and how much everybody's walking on eggshells. Or is it really different for different people?
I'd say, maybe on every roster, there's a handful of guys who, feel maybe a little bit more protected. But for the most part, like, this is everyone's livelihood, and they are fighting tooth and nail to defend that. Whether, you're a, year 8, year 9 guy, or you're a rookie free agent, like, everyone's trying to get a piece of this pie. And so there's not a lot of comfort or guarantee, I would say. I think everyone's pretty on top of it as far as just doing everything they can to show their value and make sure that they're going to be a guy who makes the roster and is going to, get the money from your contract. And from a coaching perspective too, as you mentioned, like, there's no guarantees. And so there's a lot of focus and attention going in, especially from Clint Kubiak's role top down, being our new head coach coming from the Seahawks, where he just won a Super Bowl. I mean, even for him, he knows, there's no guarantees here. So we got to put together a good team that's going to win games and show some promise here, so that we can continue to build what he wants to in Vegas.
What type of feedback, if any, have you received from your individual performances and all these types of things that you've been able to do as you get ready for training camp? Are you still in the dark, or have they said anything?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't got a whole lot of feedback, knowing as far as like, where we see you, how we like you. Like, there's still so much of that to be discovered. And I think that's intentional, just because they know a lot of that comes from training camp and the preseason games. Like, this is such a huge part. Like, we haven't put pads on yet. Like, we were just in helmets for all of, OTAs and all of that. So the game of football is a little bit different, when the pads do come on. And then what you can show in live game situations in the preseason games, I think really will determine the value that they see in you. There's still, it's so different than college, like with the preseason games and what you put on tape. Like, you might not be a guy who makes the 53 at the team you're at, but next thing you know, your agent's on the phone and you're signing with a different team because they liked what they saw from you in the preseason games. There's still so much shuffling that can go on with that. But bottom line is coming to training camp, hungry, ready to go. And, someone in my position too, so much of it's going to come down to value that can be provided on special teams, which will be shown as well in those preseason games.
Do the Raiders have those practices where they go in and do the joint practices with another team? You mentioned 12 practices before the first preseason game, but those joint practices might be a chance for you to earn your stripes.
Yeah. So I know, so we have 2 home preseason games. So our first preseason game is home against the Cardinals. Then the next week we do go down a couple days early to Houston because we're playing the Texans, and we have a joint practice or 2 with them before our preseason game. That's the only one that I know of right now, though.
Have you scouted out the competition at all to try to maybe dope it out your chances?
I mean, I think all of us kind of do that, as we're looking at, what we're up against and who we're competing with. But at the same time, I try not to, go too deep in that, just knowing I'm going to control the controllables, be the best version of myself. And, what it comes down to with me and what the coaches see in me, just make sure that I've done everything humanly possible to give them a reason to keep me around.
So how many guys are there at your position? How many spots are there? Recognizing there can be a little wiggle room, especially as you point out with the special teams value, which really needs to be underlined, because that we've been told by multiple former collegians here. Reno Mai said, man, if you're not playing special teams, you better be a really good quarterback. So in our safety room, it's kind of interesting because we also have like the nickel position in our room, which can add in a number or 2 to, how many guys they keep, just depending on versatility. Each team is kind of different in, how they stack their 53. But when you do the math and you look at it, 53 guys is basically a starter and a backup at every position, and then a punter, a kicker, and a holder, and a snapper. I mean, that right there is 47. The game day roster is 47 guys. So 1s, 2s, and specialists. But, some teams will have 4 safeties. Some might have 5 or 6. And then, the teams that have 4 might keep 2 or 3 on a practice squad. If you have 5 or 6, they might only keep 1. It just kind of depends on how the team wants to do that. So I'm curious to see what that ends up looking like for us come the end of August.
It's been several weeks now you've not been with the team. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So during that time, you're not just sitting on the couch eating Doritos. I wouldn't think that
no.
you're out there it's like it really, in terms of the training, it didn't end, right? You just continue to go. And I know Chase Roberts is on the team too. So what have you been doing? I mean, I don't know if you've been doing stuff with him or whatever it might be. What do you do to make sure you are in the best physical and mental condition that you can be in when you report?
Yeah. So the strength and conditioning staff down there, they put together a packet for us just with the plan of, what they wanted us to be doing each and every day as far as, physically with running and training, lifting, that kind of stuff. And so there's a group of us, probably about 10 guys who train at BYU every day with Skylar Main, who's our performance director. Doc Main, I don't know if that's a name you guys know. You've probably seen the curly mustache.
Yeah, with the mustache and the tats. We know who he is. Yeah, he stands out.
Yes, he does. So there's a group of us that train with him after the college guys are done. So he'll spend like 2 hours just working with us. And so, me and Chase have been down there every day, but Zach Wilson's been around a lot this summer. Blake Freeland is around. Even some other guys who, either played college or high school ball here in Utah are also down there. So guys like Jay Tufele, who played at USC. Julian Blackman comes every day too. So it's a great group, and it's good to be able to train all together, stay ready.
What do you feel like is the biggest challenge for you? We're visiting with Tanner Wall, Raiders, trying to make the Raiders roster here coming out of BYU. What is the biggest challenge that you've been able to identify? Film sessions, just the helmets walking around out there thinking, if I can do this, my odds go way up.
Man, I mean, I think really it comes down to how many good football players there are out there. Like, the discrepancy in talent between the ones and the threes is so small. There's a couple elite guys obviously on every roster, a handful who you look at and you're like, I mean, this is an all-pro guy. Like, he's gonna, be the kind of guy who's making the Pro Bowl year in, year out. But for the rest of the guys, like, when you watch the tape, there's really not that big of a jump as opposed to, when you turn on the tape in college. I would say most average football watchers, if you were to take them and show them a clip of the ones versus a clip of the threes, they could probably tell you who's who. Whereas I would say in the NFL, across the board, there's so much talent, the athleticism, the speed, the technique. There's a lot of guys. I mean, this is their job. This is their livelihood. They eat, sleep, drink, breathe football all the time. So there's a lot of great football players out there. Guys who are new to the league, guys who've been in the league for a long time. And so just trying to be someone who can stand out, do something that jumps off the tape, whether it's just outstanding psycho effort, the guy who's, always flying to the ball or chasing guys down, even when it might not be expected of you, but you got to do something to stand out. And so I'm just, trying to figure that out, what those things can be that can be, that things in my game that coaches see that jump off the tape.
We hear in basketball, these kids all come out after 1 year, right? And it's like, it's a negative to a point where, man, if you're a 3 or 4 year player, what's wrong with you? And they want you in there so young and all that stuff. And football, you got to stay. So it's not as big of a deal. But in your case, you're 26 years old. I don't remember if you went on a mission, so I'm assuming you did.
Did, yeah.
How is that an issue in terms of the way they would look at it? Basketball is like almost like, well, he's too old. But I'm wondering, how does that apply to football?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a factor, in speaking with my agent who has represented a number of LDS players. In his experience, he's seemed to notice that most return missionaries slide on average 1 to 2 rounds because of their age. And so from a GM or a coach's perspective, when looking at prospects in the draft, they're doing the math, right?
Yeah.
As far as, is this guy likely to get to a second or a third contract? Coming into the league at 26, making it to a second contract would be, major accomplishment. Making it to a second contract at all as an NFL player is an accomplishment. That's what a lot of guys are shooting to do. So it's definitely a factor. But I would say what's interesting in the draft class that the Raiders put together, there's a lot of older guys, guys who played 5-6 years at their school. So I'm not too worried about that or feeling like I'm at some extreme disadvantage. I still feel youthful, feel young. The body feels good.
Yeah.
But I would say if you look at a lot of the players that were taken, there's a lot of guys on the older end. And I think that's going to continue to be the case in college football, especially, we're kind of towards the tail end of the COVID stuff. So a lot of those guys are, finally getting out of college football. But with this 5-for-5 rule and with where college football is at now, I think you're going to see a lot more guys staying 4 or 5 years.
But college coaching is such a 1, 2, or 3 year job. And GMs, honestly, don't last much longer than that. I just don't understand these guys who are making decisions based on who might get to a third contract. Like, you got to win this year or next year, or you're either gone or you're standing really close to the edge of the cliff. So I have never, and it's real though, I get it's real, but I have never understood that. There's so many teams in win now mode. There's 14 teams going to the playoffs. You just can't explain missing the playoffs for very long. So, hey, if you can help at 26, 27, 28, worry about 5 years down the road when you get there. You got to get there. NFL's unforgiving. Yeah. All right, well, we appreciate the time, Tanner. We'll be following you. Good luck. You get to practice indoors down there, or they have you out there in the Vegas heat baking?
We are outside. We practice nice and early. So, it's 95 degrees at 7 a.m., but we're out there.
Nice. I don't know if you've ever come across Doug Jolly. He's 21 years older than you. But he played for the Raiders when Al Davis was alive, and he has stories. I don't know what the new Raider image is, but he lived the old Raider image. He's got stories. He will entertain you. You need to catch up with him at some point.
Will do.
Okay.
I'll try to do that.
Tanner, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Good luck.
Yep, thank you guys so much.
Yep, there's Tanner Wall, Raiders defensive back, former BYU star, undrafted, trying to make it in Vegas. And you never know. There's so many stories. He was talking about the Pro Bowl guys are different, but we can sit here and list a bunch of undrafted guys who are stars. You never know.
Sure. Yeah, being not drafted in the NFL is not that big of a deal. It's not like the other sports. There's plenty of guys who weren't drafted who have gone on and been great players in the NFL. And the idea is just to stick as long as you possibly can to make that money, get that pension. I was talking to Trevor Riley just the other day, this very week, about the idea to have the pension and what it takes to get to that third year and all that stuff. And hopefully for Tanner and Chase and all these other guys, no matter who they are, Julian Blackmon has been in the league, blah, 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 that they have that opportunity to do it.
Find a way to get it done. All right, DJ and PK, Bob Casper, Real Golf Radio, top of the hour, Open Championship, and our draft. Stay with us. It's a Win Tickets Wednesday. Call it 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. Wins a 4-pack of tickets to see Zach Bryan with Heaven on tour at Rice Eccles Stadium on August 7th. Call it 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. Question of the morning. Longtime TV exec Jim Williams listing ASU and Utah's favorites if the Big Ten expands west. What do you think? You're in the be careful what you wish for camp.
Yeah. I subscribe to the theory of, we where your feet are, blah, 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 and make the best of this situation, because I think the Big 12 has an opportunity to really elevate itself and to be thought of. I mean, you're not the Big Ten, you're not the SEC, but you're not whatever conference over here either. I don't want to disparage anybody. And so when this big shift comes that they demand to be included because they're so good. And they're putting guys into the NFL regularly. And basketball isn't the biggest piece, but it's a piece. And you just have the top 2 guys in the conference, right?
They went 1-2 in the draft.
Yeah. So you can say that and build that thing because I think it's buildable. Maybe I'm up in the night and I just want it to be buildable because our teams are in it. My school and the schools we cover, I consider both of these schools my schools now. Been around for so long, and I want to see good things happen to them. So maybe I'm looking at it from more of a wishful thinking. But to me, that if there is this big divide over here, that, the Big 12 will be included in that. And so if you got a foot out the door, you're looking for other stuff, is that derailing what's possibly here? You can get all that money, but there's so many of these schools that just, there's no buzz around their programs, and they're getting the money.
In the Big Ten right now, there's buzz around 3 programs, and there's another 3 or 4 that are seen as the next level. Not that far away, but not there.
Well, at least half that aren't.
I was going to say, that's 7. And I honestly think that's as far as you can go, and that's an 18-team league now. So I would say 11 of the 18 are a long way away.
Yeah.
I mean, the hill to climb is big for those 11 schools. Indiana, Ohio State, and Michigan have won 3 titles in a row between them. And 2 of those have always won titles. And I think the next tier, USC and Oregon are on it. Oregon really isn't that far away. If you want to say the top tier is 4. The only games they've lost in the last 2 years have been to the eventual national champion.
Put them in there.
They're 4. USC 5.
USC just needs to win 2 seasons of big winning, and they're right there.
Mm-hmm. And then it starts to, be a bit of reach. I think I personally think Iowa's been pretty good.
They're decent.
And so I can put them in there as Team 6. And Illinois has been pretty good, but that's it. I'm done. Nobody else. Nebraska's a long way away.
We'll see what this Chesney's dude's doing out there with UC Los Angeles. He's got a buzz, and Indiana came out of nowhere.
Yep.
And money's a factor in terms of NIL and whatnot.
Wisconsin and Michigan State have had really good runs, but right now they're a long way away. I left out Penn State.
I'm not going to bury them completely. It's a quality football conference. But the buzz here going into the 26th season is incredible here locally. We got 2 teams that very well could be playing in the final, which would be, our dream to have those 2 teams playing a final.
Rematch? I was thinking about that the other day.
Oh, yeah, that would be incredible.
If they split 2 head-to-head and they both are 12-1 and they're both in the playoffs, I just don't know that a 2-loss team from this league can get in. I'd like to think they could, but I think you better be holding on to the automatic bid.
Understood. Yeah, then you don't have to worry. Then it's not a beauty contest.
Right.
You've earned your right to be in there. And so, absolutely, I would love to see that. And there's a possibility, and there's a big-time buzz for this football season. And you just don't want to be out there. You can bring in all the money, but if there isn't a buzz around your program, what does all that money do for you?
DJ PK, Bob Casper, Real Golf Radio next. Stay with us.
This Open Championship update is presented by Copper Rock, where the pros play on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Brian Taylor, Bob Casper's appearances are brought to you by Mountain America Credit Union, Mountain Supply, Black Desert Resort, Hoops Vision, and Uinta Golf. Time to welcome in Bob Casper. Bob, good morning.
How you guys doing?
We are doing well. How are you?
Bob Casper.
That was random.
How you doing, BK?
Oh, I am good. Ready to get another title. I don't know where I'm going to put all these.
Oh, listen to you. You are a master gloater.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bob, it's all about the weather at the Open Championship, and I'm hearing it's warm and the rough is burned out, and Rory thinks guys may just try to bomb it up there and hit out of the rough, and other guys are going to be hitting irons, keeping it in the fairway, and letting it roll forever. What's going on? What's the deal? What do you think?
Tiger had a pretty good game plan at Royal Liverpool. I think he only hit one driver all week, and he ended up winning that golf tournament by I don't know how many shots, but he was definitely a ball striker. He was definitely relied on his iron play, and I think if somebody can do that, then they're going to have a really good chance. The thing that just bombing and gouging it does is it leaves so much to chance and so many places that you can hit the ball, whether it's in the pot bunkers or whether it's in the rough and just hoping you get a good lie. I'm the tactician mindset, and I think what Tiger did is what somebody's going to do, and they're going to have a pretty good chance of winning.
How does thinking and course management factor into this major relative to the other three?
Well, it's PK. It's so different in that you get burnout conditions like this one, where there's not a lot of moisture in the soil, especially off the tee, and now you have to decide what you're going to hit off the tee. So that you can keep the ball in play, that you don't hit it in those pot bunkers, and how much the ball is actually going to roll out. So there's going to be a lot of interaction between the caddies and the players. They're going to be talking about weather or wind conditions. Is the wind straight down? Is it into you? Is it right to left, left to right? Do I hit a draw and hold it into the wind if it's left to right, or do I hit a fade and hold it into the wind if it's right to left? Or do I hit shots that carry with the wind, that kind of thing? And then, they all have launch monitors and everything. So when they're practicing on the practice range, they can tell how far the ball is flying, and then roll out as well. But then when you get on the golf course, you've got humps and bumps and all that kind of stuff. And, you catch one of those downhill bumps and you're going to hit it, so much further. The guys were talking about hitting a 5-iron almost 300 yards with the amount of roll that you could possibly get, and guys that are hitting drivers close to 400 yards because, you get bounces and rolls and the ball just travels and keeps going. So you've got to pretty well decide on some holes that you can take advantage of, and some holes you want to make sure that you play safe. But you got to keep it out of those fairway pot bunkers, that's for sure.
Are the greens, with all this heat and the weather, are the greens going to be really fast?
The greens, that as far as the speed of the greens over there in Europe, because they get so much, and links courses, they get so much wind. And when the wind has a tendency to make the ball move on the greens, so they like to keep their greens a little bit slower. Where we would in a U.S. Open 11 to 14 on the stimp meter, over there you're going to be 9 to 10, 10 on the high end, and which means that you can be a little bit more aggressive with your putts. And so because of that, I think the greens will have some moisture in them to help the ball stay on the green a little bit. And I think they will be a little bit slower because that's traditionally what they've done.
Are these bunkers that you speak of, are they the mindset of avoid at all costs?
Avoid at all costs, 100%. Pot bunkers aren't big, so the ball can roll up against the faces. In these, they're called revetted bunkers or sod face bunkers because they stack sod horizontally and bring up the face of the bunker higher. And when they do that, it's harder to get the ball out of the bunker. You're going to just have to try to hit a wedge, hit a sand wedge or a lob wedge to get the ball out of the bunker because there's no actually playing forward to get the ball onto the green. So that is truly a one-shot penalty if you hit it in a fairway bunker. and you've got to avoid those at all costs.
It's time for our draft, and we got a little tip from your tag team radio partner, Brian Taylor.
Oh, you did you?
Yeah, he says the guy to watch, his pick for the week is...
The one I discovered.
Matt Fitzpatrick.
Yeah,
Matty Fitzpatrick.
And you want to know the problem with that?
Yeah.
We got a new rule this year that you can only pick a guy once a year, and we all picked him. PK took him in the Masters.
Yep.
I took him in the PGA. You took him at the U.S. Open. He has not won a major, but we all swung and missed with him, so we can't pick Matty Fitz. We also have all taken Tommy Fleetwood, so if you're thinking about, hey, who's an elite European I could take at the Open Championship? Well, Fleetwood's. And the odds on both of them, I mean, a lot of people are betting on those guys. I mean, this is the Open Championship, and the odds are everywhere. The British love to gamble on golf. And they're like third and fourth. So, and we can't pick them.
Nope, they're out.
All right, Bob, why don't you bat lead off and get us going here? You've got the first pick.
Okay,
We've got the regional picks that are off the board. You get Xander Schauffele, who actually has pretty good odds to win this week. The gamblers are liking him. And PK's got John Rahm. Again, the gamblers like him. Good odds to win the championship. And I've got Brooks Koepka, who nobody takes seriously. So, yay for me.
I think it's appropriate.
1969 is the last time that a Englishman has won on English soil at an Open Championship, and so that bodes well for my first pick because he made his coming out debut in 1998 as a 17-year-old amateur. He finished fourth, and here he is trying to win the Open Championship. So I'm going to full circle. I'm going Justin Rose for my first pick.
Dang it. He was on my list, and I never got a chance.
I hear that all the time from you, DJ.
PK, there's three names. What's that name? Right there.
That was an excellent impersonation, Bob.
Yeah. Dang it.
I want to say something else, but we're on the radio. I'll tell you what I was going to say later.
That's right.
But you could just cue up some Jerry Sloan sideline stuff, and you'd be in the ballpark.
What does he say, Bob?
Dang it.
Hey, you got to drop Yak. You got to use that.
Oh, yeah.
You got to use that. That's pure gold.
Oh, trust me.
I can't believe you took Rose right out of the gate. All right, I haven't taken Scheffler yet, and I've been waiting for him to peak all year, and now that I'm down to the last tournament, he goes and misses the cut. So, Scheffler, am I wasting my time with my first pick? Do you think he can bounce back from the missed cut?
Reset last week.
That was a reset? He'll be flying this week?
Yep.
All right, well, I got Scheffler.
He'll be good.
And both of you guys have taken Rory, right?
I took Rory in the Open, and he took him in the PGA, so you could just sit on Rory for your third pick.
All right, I'll go Sam Burns.
Ooh, that's a really good one, PK. I like that.
Why didn't you make it? And then I could have had Rose.
Because he wanted to hear you say.
Because I'm going, I always go for the career Grand Slam, and I always go for the history makers. So that's why I picked Rose.
I would love to see Rose win it.
Full circle all the way around. Yeah, Rose would be good. Rose
I had him
really
at the Masters when he was runner-up, and he's kind of around, but he just couldn't quite get over the hump. And it'd be cool. He's been out there for a long time. Yeah. Didn't he, as an amateur, didn't he finish like third or something when he was an amateur? Wasn't that his breakout?
He finished fourth.
Fourth,
yeah,
okay.
Fourth at this golf course.
Man.
That's why it's full circle around to now he's 46 or 45.
No drama, just goes out and plays.
Yeah. Really cool. So another story, Tommy Fleetwood grew up 5 minutes down the road, and he and his dad used to sneak through the fence and play golf on this golf course. So that's a cool story.
Sure.
Also. But I'm going with my next pick. I'm going to do Russell Henley.
Good.
I took him at the Open.
Since we're scraping bottom of the barrel now.
That didn't really work for me when I took him at the Open.
You don't have to scrape bottom of the barrel. You chose those other guys. I got Rory sitting out there. I obviously
Yeah.
haven't picked him.
No, you've got Rory sitting there for the third round.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Chris Gotterup.
Yep. Ooh, that's good. Yep. I like that. He's playing good golf. Won 2 weeks ago.
He did.
Finished well last week.
He did. He was tied for 11th at the Scottish Open. So.
Yep.
I'll go Morikawa.
Morikawa.
Yeah.
Colin. Okay. Okay, I got to look through my list again. See who I have picked or have not picked.
You can have DeChambeau if you want him.
Oh, man. I can?
No, he took him into the Masters. He
Yeah,
cannot have
but I'll be nice.
I took him into the Masters.
He's struggling. Faldo was blasting him the other day.
Oh, Faldo was blasting him hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told him he didn't know how to play this golf course.
Right.
So, okay, another one that missed the cut last week. I'm going to take Ludwig Oberg.
All right, I will go. I think he's still available for me. Let me make sure. No, I haven't taken him. I'm going to take Victor Hovland.
Okay.
Not Victory Hovland.
That's a good one.
Victor Hovland.
Well, pick a European over there, on the other side of the pond.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Sure. And you're going to take.
I'm going to go
3 Europeans.
I'm going to go Rory Mac. Oh, Rory Mac. When are you going to be winning again? Can't you hear me, Rory Mac? Oh, Rory Mac.
Okay.
One of the guys who has pretty good odds that we did not take, and I wonder if we've just blown it here, but of the guys who are in the title, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's 7th on the list, and I think we took almost all. I think we took 8 of the top 10. Robert McIntyre. Did we blow it?
Bobby Mack.
Bobby Mack? Oh, Bobby Mack. Is he coming back?
Oh, my goodness.
All right.
Wow.
Enough of that.
Yeah.
Well, because if I don't sing, you know what the listeners are going to say?
Thank you.
No. They're going to say, dang it.
Thank you. He's right.
Ding. Correct answer.
DJ. Yes. Here, I'm touching my nose. Ding, 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 ding.
How many times have you been to the Open Championship? You go to the Masters every year, but the Open Championship, that's a much longer flight, much more expensive trip. I know you've been over there, but I don't think you've been that often. How many have you been to?
BT and I went over in 2005 when Tiger won at the Old Course.
Mm-hmm.
We were there with my dad. Got to play Carnoustie with my dad.
Oh, nice.
But when I was younger, probably, I don't know, a handful of times when I was younger.
What did your father
My
say
dad
about
was
this
playing.
tournament?
My dad, he loved the Open Championship. He didn't play at PK till 1968. That was the first time he played it at Carnoustie.
Is that a scheduling issue or a money issue or what was it?
No, it was a 2-week trip.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, and he could stay in the U.S. and still play PGA Tour events and not have to pay the expense to go across the pond. But once he got over there, he was leading it. He was leading through 3 rounds and the majority of the 4th round at Carnoustie and hit it into the gorse. And Gary Player ended up winning. I think my dad finished 4th. And he said one of his biggest regrets is that he didn't go play that more because he felt like that type of golf really fit his game. He could control the ball flight. He liked using his imagination to bump shots into greens and that kind of thing. And he was never able to win the Open Championship, but he sure loved playing in it.
Well, Bob, we appreciate it as always. Now we got a rooting interest. I will email this all out to you guys and we can follow it all week long. All right?
Okay.
All right. You're the
Sounds
man, Bob.
good.
Thanks for joining us. Okay. Bob Casper, Real Golf Radio. There it is. DJ and PK. We're going to take a break. When we come back, everything you missed in this show, the football, the basketball, and yes, the baseball. It's all coming up. Stay with us.
Welcome to This is Jay Scott and Ben Anderson.
Covering the Jazz for the Deseret News, she is Sarah Todd. I don't think Jackson Hayes is the solution. Nurk, I'm not sure if he's a solution either. What do you think the Jazz do as far as center going forward?
None of that is going to be a solution long term, right? But anybody that thinks that the Jazz going into this particular season being a legitimate title contender, that's not realistic. It doesn't have to be that the Jazz have the perfect center for the timeline for this team right now. This Jazz team needs to be able to prove, as constructed, that they're able to win games. The expectation is still, you make the playoffs, you definitely need to be a play-in team, like at worst. Yeah, down the road, the center position is going to need to be fortified a little bit, but that can happen over the next few years, kind of as they ramp their way up through the Western Conference.
Catch Jake and Ben afternoons from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Slugger Red Headlines are brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call them at 1-855-TRAJAN1 or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. PK.
What?
We talked a little baseball earlier this morning. The All-Star game is in the books. The American League rides dominant pitching. I know a lot of the top pitchers, they got a rule now, I guess, if you pitch on the weekend, you don't have to be in the All-Star game, and some teams move their guys' starts so that they'd be on the weekend. So they were missing some big-time pitchers. There were a lot of stars missing, but there was plenty of good pitching available.
Yeah, I think there were 28 strikeouts combined. Game wasn't that exciting. Obviously, a couple walks and singles, and they scored 3 runs and then a home run, and that was it. And National League and Philadelphia fans booing and all that stuff. They want to get some action there. Last year was a home run derby to determine the winner, and that was exciting. And this year's was a dud, but that's baseball, man. You're going to get that. Pitching, if it's on, is going to dominate, and we know strikeouts are prevalent in the game today. So there you go, and put it aside, and we'll see if we have one next year. May not.
Fun having those guys mic'd up. Dylan Cease out there on the mound. You can hear him calling pitches. And then they had conversations with managers. They had something going basically the whole game.
Yeah, it's different there. So that makes it a little different. And the catcher was the Oakland Eyes, Langler's guy. Hayes was mic'd up too.
Mm-hmm.
So you would know the pitch that was coming because he would say it into his glove, and then you could hear it. So, yeah, I mean, why not? Ultimately, it's a meaningless game.
Yep. Which I think it's following there's a little bit of basketball with the load management, and I mean, football, the Pro Bowl game went away, altogether. Teams are going to want to protect their pitchers' arms. I mean, there's so much riding on that, and there's so many guys going down with arm injuries. You can almost feel I don't know whether they call it paranoia or not, because the injuries are real. I mean, these guys seem to be having Tommy John surgery regularly. Some guys are having it twice. So I get why they want to be cautious with them, and guys used to be able to throw 3 innings. Nobody ever goes 3 innings in an All-Star game anymore.
No.
Most guys don't even go 2.
And then Goose Gossage complains about it every year.
Yeah.
That's what will be interesting to see if they do the Olympics and how that's going to play, because it's going to have to obviously be during the season. And what do they want there? You'd have to think that baseball is one of these sports where Olympic gold would not supersede World Series. And some of the sports, I insist all the international players would rather win the Olympic gold than the NBA title. And they can't say it because that's where they're getting the most of their money. But
it is so hard to beat the United States in basketball. I totally get that. In baseball, it might vary more on the country. But maybe even then, I mean, it's not that hard to imagine. A country like Japan has enough players. It's not hard to imagine them win Olympic gold. We've seen them win Olympic gold. I wonder if they'd valued that over. Their team would probably be a mix of players playing in Japan and playing in the U.S.
Yes, but you simply can't bite the hand that feeds you the most.
I totally get it.
We're not talking about position players.
Right. No,
We're talking about pitching.
Exactly.
And that's already a sensitive subject.
100%. And I saw Buster Olney talking about this in the lead up to the game, saying hopefully they can do something because there are just so many guys missing. I remember thinking, what are they going to do? I mean, these pitchers are they don't really say sore arm anymore, but essentially they got some kind of pain in their arm, so they're out. I mean, with Ohtani, it happens to be his knee, and I don't think the Dodgers putting out a press release on a knee getting drained was an accident. They wanted out there, hey, this is real, and we're making him do it. He has to do it, so don't give him a bunch of grief over this. And Aaron Judge isn't there. I mean, Judge and Ohtani are the two superstars in the game that everybody wants to see, and neither one was there. Judge is a long-term injury, so there's nothing you can do about that. It is. I mean, he's missing weeks.
Which is why Aaron Judge should never be on the ground in a regular season game ever.
No diving for balls, no sliding into second base.
No.
Stay healthy.
Or stay at first base.
Yeah.
If you think it's going to be a play, just stay at first base.
You mean so much.
Right.
The replacement
numbers are
wins.
overwhelming.
Yeah, it's clear.
With him in and with him out, yeah. So don't let, and that's what he said. It was a dive on a ball in right field where and I know it's your natural instinct, but change it.
No. No.
But it's hard not to. I understand that. It's not the way you play the game. But the pitching in the Worlds or the Olympics,
it's going to be an issue.
I don't know that it's really going to work. Whoever it is, if he's a big league pitcher, it's going to be a strict pitch count. And if you threw 9 pitches per inning for 4 innings, you're still coming out. So it won't be the true form, but give it a shot and see what happens.
Tarek Skubal, the subject of trade rumors. Reports have the Cubs, Braves, and Rays holding the most interest in potentially acquiring the Tigers star.
That's great. Acquire him, and he'll be with you. And then in December, he'll sign with the Dodgers.
And there it is. You took the words right out of my mouth. I've already heard so many sarcastic references to the Dodgers aren't going to trade for him. They don't need to. They don't need to give anything up. They're going to get him anyway.
Well, and that same report that had those 3 teams, it said both the Yankees and the Dodgers are currently not in the mix. I'm like, yeah, because they're thinking we'll just grab them in December.
Yeah. And the Dodgers will get them, and then we'll say baseball's in a good spot, the players, and because it's all about being able to sign the $500, $600, $700 million contracts, and away you go there. And and if the Dodgers win the World Series again, which I'm sure all the owners will be rooting for them hard. If it's not
then
your
they can
team.
say, see, we've just got to have this salary cap.
Yeah, we can't have the same team every single year. It just doesn't. The fans will eventually turn off. So you players, you top-end players, can you live with $250 million deals rather than $500 million deals?
Speaking of $250 million deals, the NBA. Jazz and Spurs in Summer League action tonight, 7:30, Prime Video. Obviously, they didn't play the 3 guys that everybody wants to see play in the last game, so I wouldn't be holding my breath for them tonight, but I haven't heard anything definitive. I don't know, have you read or seen anything definitive about tonight?
I have not. I've not looked. I've seen enough, and so to me, it's summer now. The NBA goes away, and LeBron signs with somebody.
The 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th Summer League games aren't that revealing. We've seen 5 games now of Peterson.
Yes. And
4, I guess. Did he see the last
I knew
one?
what I was going to see, and I saw it.
Right. A.J. DeBonce has been shut down after 2 games.
Good.
Wizards have played twice, and they've seen enough.
Yeah. And and then they play it out, and away you go, and then the NBA goes away for 6 to 8 weeks, and
then they'll be back.
Get those guys on vacation, and then we start it up. And the last week of September, we should be over at the practice facility doing media day. And at that point, I'll be jacked for it.
76ers are doing their recruiting. Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Jaylen Brown, making overtures to LeBron James. Come and play in Philly. LeBron's been looking at options. Golden State, Cleveland, and Miami, the other teams getting mentioned a lot.
If he wants to win the most, seems to me Philadelphia would be the one. But until the Embiid thing, is he in, is he out? And then you have to change it when he's there, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know that any of these teams that are in the mix, I'm going to look at them, they're the team to beat now. They got a 42-year-old LeBron James.
Who's the team to beat? It's the team to beat in the West.
I think it's the same 2 at the top.
Thunder and Spurs. Which is part of the reason I'd go to the Warriors. Go to the East, see get yourself to the finals, and give yourself a chance when you get there.
Maybe go to. Actually, I think Cleveland could help the most.
I totally get that. Veteran leadership. It's the complete circle Cinderella story back for the third time in the final
there's that
chapter.
Connection there. That's home.
But they were in the conference final. They're not that far away.
And I don't think that he's looking to come in to be the man. If he's looking to come in to be the man, I wouldn't want him.
I think he's got a firm grip on reality. He's still really good in his 40s, but it's not 29-year-old him.
If he wants to play again, it's his call. I'd be perfectly fine if he said, hey, I'm done, and then just be a statesman. Nothing wrong with that. You're going to have to do that at some point, whether it's this year or next year or the year after. It ends for everybody.
Could it end with one last glorious run and a fifth title? And especially if you did it in Cleveland, that'd be storybook.
Yeah, but even then, if he does, it wouldn't be the same.
It's not. No, it's not 2 3-peats.
Well, he's not the man.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, no, and that's true. No, he wouldn't be. Nor would he want to be or should be at this point.
I also don't think he'd be a hanger-oner.
He's not a hanger-oner. He can still be 20-point guy and the game-winning pass, the game-winning assist, whatever, the game-winning shot, whatever.
I don't care what his stats are. Help your team win. That's all that matters.
Well, and I think the Knicks are out because they're already at the top. And so whoever else he'd be helping get there. I mean, Philly hasn't been to a conference final in forever. So I think going back to Iverson, which is over 20 years now, actually 25 probably.
And the guys you named, did you name Jaylen Brown?
I did name Jaylen Brown. The guy I left off was Edgecombe.
Okay.
That would be the other big name. Maxey, Embiid, and Brown are the ones who've been recruiting him. Edgecombe, obviously, and then LeBron. That'd be – you'd always have at least 2 or 3 of those 5 on the court. You'd be pretty good. NFL, we talked to Tanner Wall, Raider defensive back, former BYU star, trying to make his mark in the NFL as an undrafted free agent. Already done the OTAs and the rookie camp thing, getting ready for the camp, which, as he noted, is soon and is short. 12 days, 12 practices, 12 practices, and then the first preseason game.
I actually like that. I don't think the
drags on.
College needs to go 20-some.
No.
August is the worst for that. It's exciting at the beginning and then about halfway through.
There's nothing to say. There's nothing to ask. And you get the feeling that we're all tired of hitting each other. That quote's coming.
Yeah, it was the same stuff every year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're tired of hitting each other because it's so many. And the NFL can do it in 12 and play at a pretty high level.
Right.
Now the NFL schedule's more forgiving. I mean, you can go out and be 3-3 after 6 games and know you still got a really good shot at getting in the playoffs and just be playing good football then in January and February. Whereas in college football, if you start 3-3, it's over.
Yeah, in your conference, but I mean, you could start 0-3 and still get there.
Theoretically.
But you wouldn't because you wouldn't be good enough.
And they schedule themselves such easy games.
Yeah.
One if not 2 gimmies.
To me,
that's the preseason.
Yes, and so you have 7 weeks of preseason, and then the conference game. Now, fortunately, week 2, BYU Arizona. That's a tension-grabbing game, and I'm glad for that. So we only have to work 1 week where it's dogs, and then the second week, at least for the Cougars and Cats, it's on.
As the Big 12 and ACC try to find a way to grab center stage and get more attention, I'm surprised they don't move more conference games.
Man.
Have 3 conference games in each league in week 2 and week 3. I get coaches don't want week 1.
Then
you
you're
give that
say
up.
that's unfair, and then the teams that are going to go to overseas, whether it's Ireland or in this case Kansas and the Devils at ASU in London, that's one of those teams is going to point to that, if not both of them.
Yep.
So we'll see how that plays out.
Tanner, say anything else about the NFL that catches your ear?
Just the idea of you've been doing this your whole life, and now you basically have 3 or 4 weeks to show somebody that it can continue. I would think that he'd minimally be a practice squad guy.
That gives you a shot if you're a practice squad guy coming out of camp. There's so many injuries in the NFL.
Right. And your practice squad, the way it works, you're a free agent while still being paid by the team.
Yeah.
If someone picks you up, they have to pick you out, put you on the active roster. And then it becomes like, I remember Trevor Riley telling me this story. Do I stay on this practice squad, or do I take the guarantee to be on the roster for these last 2 games? How does that work into next year?
Mm-hmm.
So you got all these things that you got to factor into it. The fact is, if Tanner Wohl doesn't make it, he's going to have a fine life. So there's something to fall back on that. But, hopefully these guys make it. There's Isaiah Jada, I think, is on that team, and obviously Chase Roberts. Matt Gay's the kicker. I assume he's going to make the team and be the kicker. So I think there's a kid from Utah Tech on there. So obviously it would be cool. All these kids, hope they all make it. I mean, Lander Barton, who's he with the Chargers?
I think so.
Trying to make that team.
Yeah.
I wish them all well.
Yeah. We also had Bob Casper on. Just did our draft with him in the last segment for the Open Championship, the final major of the year.
Yeah, I really hope for Bob's sake that I don't win.
Rory wins. You just keep winning with your third-round picks.
Well, Roy was the first round, but I knew you guys couldn't take him.
Yep.
So
we couldn't. We were already committed. I like that, though, even though it shuts us out on Fleetwood and Fitzpatrick. Needs more variety. More guys.
Yeah. It's more fun. And there's more strategy.
Yep. Looking back, why did I pick Fleetwood in the Masters? What was I thinking? But I saved Scheffler, and it's good because he hasn't won a major yet, so it would have been a wasted pick if I had used it. But even now, I'm like, is it a reset really? Or it's just not his year? I mean, even Tiger didn't win a major every year. And is the window gone for Scheffler?
Scheffler now he's got 2 kids.
I know.
And he openly speaks, what now? I win it. I'm excited for 5 minutes. He's telling us.
He really is. He's laying it out there. Yeah. Yep. And we saw the similar thing with Spieth. Spieth won when he was single.
On and on and on. Men and women.
Yep. And Jack Nicklaus said it about Tiger. Yeah, he's rolling now, but later on, you get older.
Johnny Miller openly talked about it.
They've all seen it and felt it.
Right. So the idea is to get as many as you can early. It's harder late. And then life gets in the way. And you never know how real these guys are with their lives. They tend to. Mickelson's been out in the news lately, and we've seen a bunch of other guys. How really committed you are, because if you got gals on the side, as far as I'm concerned, you're not that committed, because that's not acceptable.
Distractions, juggling, time.
Now, if you don't want to get
energy.
married, then you can have Derek Jeter until he got married. Fine, right? And give him the gift bag, and away you go.
A lovely parting gift.
Yeah, well, that's the story, right?
That is the story.
But he was single.
Yeah. So presumably it was less of a distraction, and he could stay focused on sports.
Well, yeah, and then he waited late to get married. Steve Young. Yeah. But Scheffler didn't, and now he just turned 30 last month. He's got 2 kids now, and maybe his time has come and gone. And if it has, what a great run. I feel he can be competitive, but he probably won't be competitive as he has been if his time is over. Maybe he's the guy who can grind and do both.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We are taking a break. When we come back, your feedback is next. Stay with us. DJ and PK, it's time for your feedback. Longtime TV executive Jim Williams lists ASU and Utah as the favorites if the Big Ten expands west. So what do you think? Kelsey, honest question. Why Utah over BYU? BYU always ranks in the top in viewers, attendance, they're completely out of debt, nationwide, worldwide audience and support, incredible product on the field. So why is Utah a better brand than BYU? Brett says it's Sunday play in the wise politics. Mike says it's Sunday play for starters. And Weston says, from what I heard as a Utah fan, it's because the University of Utah is in some group of elite colleges and like top 10 and most luxury colleges, which is what the Big Ten looks for. I've never heard luxury colleges term before. Yeah, American Association of Universities. They're one of the 70 whatever schools in that. 71, I think. If it happens, are we wasting time on wondering what happens?
I say for Utah, just have your focus on the Big 12 and see what you can do there. And, man, make it so much that this conference cannot be ignored.
Raise more money, get better athletes, pay more NIL, win more games, and then everything will take care of itself?
I think it will one way or the other, no matter what it's called in 10 years. Whatever affiliation there are, and it may be completely overhauled, and just be in the position where you demand to be included. And I think they should be included. I think both should be included.
There's a lot of people with a lot of plans right now throwing a lot of theories and and I've heard that about the playoff, that there's like basically another plan every week. So reacting to whatever the latest one is can drive you a little nuts.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Worry about all that stuff.
Cam Walker has said that. He's a new AD at Utah State. And he said, man, one day you're seeing a plan and it's 24 teams, another is 16, another is stay at 12. And there's plans if there's a Power 2, a Power 3, a Power 4.
All of Utah's focus should be on Idaho, and that's it.
Okay.
And BYU's focus is on Utah Tech. That's it.
Look at you furrow the brow.
That's it, man. And Utah State's, is it Idaho State? That's all their focus should be on.
Money games, preseason tune-ups.
Take it one expansion rumor at a time. Don't be focusing on 2 expansion rumors. Then it gets so messy.
It does.
And I'm not talking about Lionel.
Here's a comment off the question about the most satisfying sounds in sports. And you put, hey, number 1 should have been the pop of the champagne bottle. All the champions. Baseball, football, basketball. Come on. That's the soundtrack in the locker room.
Yeah.
Down the line. I don't know about the individual sports, but in the team sports, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, hockey gets to it eventually. First, they got to hoist the trophy, and one guy after another, and they do the whole thing skating around on the ice. Especially if they're at home, that goes on forever. But eventually, they get back to the locker room, and they get to it.
Yeah.
We've got a couple people adding sounds. Jared says, the drag on a fishing reel. Knowing you got to fish on, the whirring noise as the line just feeds out. And we got a guy, auto racing, who said, got to find his name, but he thought that the sound as the car zoomed by the microphone in the corner.
Okay, we'd have to 40th one. Did you, before we get out of here, did you hear about the gal in Las Vegas? She married 14 guys.
No.
Yeah, she kept getting married. She married 14 guys. And they asked her, law enforcement officials said, do you understand what you're doing? And you know what she said? I do.
Nice.
You making it up?
Yeah, I hadn't heard the story, and there it is. Las Vegas woman in 14 marriage scam, likely to avoid prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
She admitted to bigamy and fraud in exchange for drop charges and a state recommendation for probation.
They asked her, do you know what you're doing?
I do. I got it. She lost more than $300,000 gambling, fueling the continuation of her fraudulent marriages.
Oh, man. That's a tough one.
All right, DJ and PK, on that note, we are out of here. Scotty G and the coach, Tim Lacombe, coming up next, live from Bar Dub Grill, exit 222 in Nephi. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.